As the leader of the Booner Path, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff Booner and Lucas. It is Friday, February 14th. It's Valentine's Day, huh?
How about it?
Come on.
Happy Valentine's Day, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's all in our girlfriends for sacrificing. And your soon-to-be girlfriend.
Hey, one day. You never know.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe one day I'll be able to celebrate a nice holiday, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you'll get there, Boone. You're Booner. You're doing a good job. I mean, hey, I got a perfect card for you. Dan Campbell. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I'd still love you. Look at that.
Yeah, I actually love that. That's probably, was that Barstool Detroit?
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable Valentine's Day card. That's unreal, dude.
It's hilarious. We got a packed show today. Going through, it's Thursday, so we'll do national mocks later in the show. We got a Valentine's Day themed segment, which I put in there today.
I just saw it. I was like,
what do you think of it? What do you think?
I think it's fine. Yeah, like I think
funny?
it's a good, funny segment. It'll be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're going to go through some guys, and we're going to ask Lions fans if you're still in love with these players, referring to Valentine's Day. But
Jared Goff.
Yeah, the first player is Jared Goff now. Appreciate you all for tuning in, man. I see you guys all in the chat today. We also have, for members, I just did this today as well. Members, there is a discount code I put and sent out to members for 15% off the merch store.
Is that like a Valentine's Day gift from
I didn't really think of it like a Valentine's thing.
Hey, you're out here for the people. I love that.
If you're a member, you can go enter that when you purchase something, 50% off your total order. So
I mean, I don't even get 15%. So shout out to Crunch Time.
Yeah, so go get your merchandise. But like I said, we got lots to get to today. I want to start off because lately we've been talking more Pistons, and now Tigers are coming up, Red Wings. Mark Ryan, who I felt bad. Mark Ryan's been getting a lot of heat lately for his Alex Bregman tweet. I went ahead and DM'd him.
Guy.
Yeah, I DM'd him. He's a great dude. But
we need to get him on the show. I'm a fan of Mark.
Yeah,
as much as people hate him, I do like Mark personally.
Yeah, he's a and by the way, the code is on. Go to the YouTube channel. Go to the community page, and members, you'll see the post. No, if you're not a member, you won't see it, but you'll see the post. So people that are wondering. But Mark Ryan, yeah, he's really good at what he does, man. He is.
He does a great job. He gets too much hate, I think. I think it's because he's new to the city. That's what I think it is.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
He does a good job.
He tweeted out, how would you rank the four teams in Detroit from most to least fun to watch? I'm talking current squads. We're on a good run as a city, so this is tough. He says his are the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, Red Wings. He has Red Wings last, which I think they're all, I mean, at least it's all subjective, but what would you guys rank it? If I asked you, most to least fun, most fun. I think we would all have Lions, right? I think that's probably fair.
I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you, I think Mark's list is I think it's the correct list, honestly. Like,
okay.
I just think with the way the Lions have played, we all know that they got to be at the top of everyone's list over the last 2 years. And what they do, obviously without Ben, you're gonna like, hey, what are they gonna look like now? But like fun to watch. Lions are number one. I think right now, like currently, watching Cade and Asar and these guys go at it every single night, have 29 wins. Like, I think they have to be number two. And then after that playoff run, the Detroit Tigers, man, they did something to me, Jeff. I know it's Valentine's Day. Hey, the Detroit Tigers team. AJ Hinch, they did something to me. I loved watching them in that postseason run. And then I don't think it's anything to take away from what the Wings have done too. Wings are fun to watch, but I just think Wings have to be fourth there based off of the teams here and what they're currently doing.
Yeah, the only thing I would, it's all preference to me. I would have the Red Wings third because of lately they've been, at least with Tom McClellan, I'd rather watch the Red Wings right now
over the Tigers.
I mean,
you can't you can't rank it based off what the Tigers are today.
Yeah,
it has to be what they did in the postseason, and they went on an unbelievable. Like that was one of the funnest postseason runs I've got like over the last 10 years here in Detroit. Outside of the line, I mean, it's like literally like one of the only ones that we've had.
Like, I love watching postseason baseball. It's hard for me to watch regular season baseball.
So
So
you didn't think that was thrilling what happened a couple months ago?
I mean, the end of the season, I tuned in. The playoff run was spectacular. We all tuned in for that. But personal preference, I mean, there's people out there
That's
that like, hey,
crazy,
look,
man.
you grind the season. They like watching the Tigers. Like, I respect it. I'll lock in towards the end, playoff push, playoff baseball. But I'm not.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching the Red Wings during the season. You know, like I like watching them all season. Personally, not again. Me and Mike have went at it about Pistons Red Wings, but I will give them that respect. I do like watching the Red Wings, especially now. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think. I think all four of these teams,
it's
going to make probably make the playoffs. Like are going to have a chance at it.
What do you
So,
think?
like,
What do you think the closest is besides the Lions to winning a championship?
Oh man, I've already said it. I mean, we did a couple weeks back. I had said the Tigers.
I think the Tigers.
Yeah, or no.
Red Wings.
Yeah, I think I actually said the Red Wings. I don't want to like go back and forth. I'm pretty sure I did say the Red Wings. We had someone on. I can't remember who we were talking. Might have been Anthony.
Yeah, it was.
And then I think I said Red Wings, and I said Red Wings, Tigers, and then Pistons. I think it was my order. Because I think the Wings, dude. I think my argument was too with the Red Wings was the fact that they already have like a lot of the stars they have are like later into their careers, like Larkin and Sider. Like I don't know if Sider's actually still young, but like Patrick King,
yeah,
like they're kind of at that point to where it's like, hey, you got to start winning here now. Like there's no more like waiting on it. It's about that time. Where the Tigers still have a lot of up and coming guys, and same with the Pistons.
I think for the Tigers, the thing that's going up against them is you have franchises in baseball that will literally buy a championship. You know, like they'll buy a World Series, not only appearance, but a victory. It's a little different in other sports. That's why it's tough. Like the Tigers, where they are, they're going to be fun. They're going to be a playoff team. But when we're talking closest to winning it all, like I might even give the Pistons the third nod. Now, do I think it's close for them? I mean, not in the near future, but I don't know, man. I
do think the Tigers. I'm putting them over the Pistons. What they did in that postseason, they're adding a couple pieces, getting Flaherty back. Like I do think that there's a chance. Like they almost went on a run there to beat Cleveland, and they would have had a battle with the Yankees.
It is crazy to say that the Pistons are like worth watching right now. It is like by a lot of people. I mean, when we used to talk Pistons, it was usually like, oh, here we go again. Rightfully so. No one wanted to hear about it.
People want to hear the Pistons now.
Now people are interested. Like Bulls turn. Pistons are must-see TV right now. Like, yeah, they are. They're fun to watch.
It's crazy. On our show, and we've both been doing shows now for a couple of years. Like it is crazy. Like for the longest, it was like anytime you would talk Pistons in the chat, it would be like, "Why are we talking Pistons? I don't want to hear about the Pistons." Yeah. Now it's kind of turned to like we do these Lions things, dude. The amount of comments, tweets we get, and like people commenting that are like, "Why aren't you guys talking Pistons?" Like, hey, Pistons, like we need to start talking the Pistons more. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're right. And we've been putting them in shows, but like it's just weird seeing the development like that. It's crazy. I did say last year, on the night show that I was on last year, I think I told you this. Going into this season, we did like a prediction and a bold prediction segment as well. And I had said 3 out of the 4 Detroit teams would make the playoffs this next year. And we got the Tigers 1, the Lions 2. And now it's like Red Wings and Pistons both like 4 out of the 4 in this last calendar year, like the 24-25 season. You might have every single Detroit team. I don't know. I don't think that's ever happened in a city before. Someone can stat check that, but I don't think it's ever happened. All 4 teams.
Hey, by the way, shout out Mike Reed, just gifted 10 Crunch Time memberships.
Real Mike.
People. So, by the way, and I gifted 5 more to just sprinkle in there. So 15 people right now have a membership. Again, go to our page, community section. Those 15 new people, you can get a discount. You get the discount code. It's on our page. So shout out to Mike for that, man. He's a real one for the people, as he always is. That's huge. But hey, I wanted to bring this up too. Speaking of things that are a little odd, now in college football, you have GMs. And now, not only do you have to worry about NFL teams plucking away the Lions front office guys, you have to worry about college teams plucking away NFL guys. That's literally, it's how it is. I mean, the college football is turning into basically the NFL with how they hire guys, GMs. I mean, you have Andrew Luck now, the GM of Stanford, And then now Notre Dame is finalizing a deal to hire Detroit Lions Director of Scouting Advancement, Mike Martin, as the school's new general manager. Martin was a part of Detroit's initial front office staff to help rebuild the Lions. Now Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman is pulling Martin away from Detroit to bring an NFL model to South Bend. So this is a massive hire for Notre Dame. I haven't really heard, you don't hear too much about front office guys for the Lions, but anyone that is working alongside Brad Holmes, like the guy's a stud. I mean, for the most part, that's just how it is. So Notre Dame gets an absolute stud. And this is going to happen, again, not just in the NFL, but you're going to see this in college football too. It is a weird thing now. College football is turning into more of that, even college football and really college sports.
Yeah.
I mean, you have college basketball. Like Woj literally said, hey, I'm out. No longer insider. I'm going to
He's a GM now.
Yeah, I'm going to be a general manager. I mean, I like it. Eventually, I do believe there will be some sort of salary cap. That's just how it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, you see, like look at the perfect example of this is Bill Belichick, like going to North Carolina, bringing Michael Lombardi in as his GM,
right.
And his son's a DC. I just think it's like the game's changing. I do think like college wise, they're going to have to figure that out with the money. But yeah, guys are going to start getting plucked away from the NFL, and especially it's like those guys who like remember Brad, like in LA, he was like director of college scouting or whatever it was. Like those are typically guys who get GM jobs. There's only 32 GM jobs, right? Like in the NFL. In college, as you start getting the new college world and college football world that you're starting to see, like there's going to be opportunities for people to get more, GMs and more opportunities. And like, that's when you're going to start seeing some of these guys in this NFL front offices start to take those opportunities. Because, hey, like, think about what was his name? I'm sorry, Jeff. Can you pull him back up?
Yeah, it's Mike Martin.
Mike Martin. Like, think about Mike. He is Detroit Lions Director of Scouting Advancement. Like, big part of building what this Detroit Lions team's built. Like, one of the best teams in the NFL, rosters in the NFL. Brad gets the credit for all of it, but he has guys like Mike Martin out there that is actually doing some of this work as well. And like, once you start seeing that, a guy like Mike Martin sees the opportunity in Notre Dame. Hey, if I go there and help build that team and I go win a couple national championships or even a national championship, NFL GMs are going to look at me and be like, hey, I want, let's get this guy a shot. It's like, it's another path. And the Lions have been dealing with this. They dealt with it last offseason. Jeff, remember the multiple guys over to the Commanders, like guys going to the Commanders, like just everywhere. And I think once you build a team like you have it now, not just coaches are going to get plucked, front office people. Chris Spielman getting interviewed for GM jobs. Like it's going to happen, and you're going to see it. And it's like the biggest thing with it is you're just going to have to find ways to keep building rosters. Like, I think it does start all with Brad Holmes at the top, and as long as we still have Brad and Dan, I don't think it's going to change a lot, but you just got to hope. Like, do you trust Brad? I trust Brad to bring a new guy in and kind of develop another guy like Mike Martin. So I'm not too worried, but it is kind of crazy to see this cycle here now in Detroit with not just coaches, but front office people. Like that's never been a thing in Detroit. Never.
No, I mean,
that's why it's so crazy.
It's getting to the point, and this happens for all organizations. It's going to be the same thing with Philly. I bet you any money next year, or whenever, maybe college football, but they're going to interview. They're going to interview the Eagles, the front office members. It's hire them. Anyone that has a cup of coffee with Brad Holmes, they're going to interview, hire. So as long as you have Brad, you'll be fine. Same thing with coaches too. It's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, you see the staff that Dan Campbell assembled. You don't think any of these guys? I mean, they're all going to be gone probably within a couple of years if they're good. I mean, that's the big thing. But yeah, they'll be gone. So part of being a good organization, welcome, welcome. All right. Hey, I want to start this segment. I know Klotzy's going to be joining in a couple of minutes. I'm willing to wait. I want to wait until Klotzy gets here. It'll be a good one with him. We're going to do our Valentine's Day Detroit Lions segment where we go through and I give you some names and I ask you, are you still in love with these players and their potential? But before we get to that, I want to bring this up because I was going to talk about it later, but we got a couple minutes to burn anyway. And I see ETN's in there. Do you see the
Stafford stuff? It's starting to heat up a little bit.
He's on the move again. I mean, they won their Super Bowl. They're got a young roster now. Apparently, they asked the Giants are really being aggressive about it. They really want Matthew. The Rams are like, okay, we'll give him to you, but give us the number 3 overall pick.
They just want to draft the quarterback.
Yeah. Or whatever in LA.
I'm going to be honest, and this isn't at Matthew Stafford, but if you're the Giants, why would you do that?
Oh yeah, that's a.
I mean, you're basically going all in right now. Like it's a team going all in when it's like you're not ready to go all in. Like they don't have a full roster to be like, yep, let's go all in. Like they're not like that. Some of these teams, man, you know what? If they'd made that move, who's that GM? Sean or whatever. What's his name?
Joe Sheen or Joe
Sheen. Worst GM in football. That man needs to be fired. The videos coming out of him with the Saquon stuff, how he had handled all of that. Now Saquon's today they did the parade and Saquon's out there with the Lombardi Trophy. Like he should never want to show his face around New York City again. Like that is the most embarrassing move that he's ever made. And now he wants Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I mean,
when they're not ready for him.
That's what happens to regimes that are put under a lot of pressure. They were told by ownership, you got to win. People do some desperate things. It's kind of like when Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, when they were told by Sheila and Martha, you got to win. Like I hate that because if you don't like them, fire them. Just get rid of them. Because when you put a GM and a head coach in a win now, like, hey, you got to win this year, they do dumb shit. Like it's just because they're like, I'm already out of here if it doesn't work. Like just fucking trade away this pick, draft Jeff Okudah, do all this. Like they start trying to make win now moves when it's not the right way to approach it. When you get an organization that gives you the time, obviously like the Lions did with Brad and Dan, like it ends up working out. But if you're not sure about Brian Daboll and Joe Sheen, just fire them. Get them out of here. I'm just fire them. Or don't be like, well, next year is the last year we're putting up with it. Because then like why? If I'm Joe Sheen, why would I keep if I know I'm gonna be gone in a year? It's like there's probably weighing on his mind. Even if I make this pick, I could be gone. That's
probably why he like wants the Stafford thing too. At the end of the day, it's because he knows that hey, my job is so far on the line right now, to where I have to go all in instantly. When it's like again, it's just one of those things. Like that team is so far off just to win. Like they're not one quarterback away. They are 5, 6, 7 pieces away from even being close to winning a Super Bowl or winning that division. So like it's just you're essentially it's I don't know. To me, I said Brian Daboll should have been out, and they should have just cleaned house with Brian Daboll, the GM, and they should have moved down once the Daniel Jones stuff went down and the Saquon stuff went down. It's like, hey, just move on. Like we needed a whole new regime in here. We need like a whole new what do we say all the time, Jeff? Like a new voice. Like we just need a new voice.
You could, and it was a good cycle too. There's a lot of good coaches. Like you could have
missed out.
Yeah, you missed. I mean, there's always new guys, but like you missed out on some names. Just by what?
I mean, they might be waiting until next year. I mean, you think about like next year, like a Mike McCarthy or something, maybe. I don't know.
It's like that's I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what the Giants are doing. And if Stafford gets traded, I saw Cooper Kupp could go to New York. It's like, what are we doing? It's like, I mean, what? No,
I do think there's one place that he could go that they could have a chance to actually contend next year.
Vikings?
No. Oh well. Vikings would be a good one.
What would name? Sorry, I don't want to take it. Who
Mine would be, hey, go ahead. What do you? I'm just playing.
I was playing the guessing game.
I like the guessing game. Hey, guessing game is
no
fun.
More guessing game. Tell me.
Pittsburgh Steelers. I think if they add, they have a Super Bowl winning defense in my opinion.
Yeah.
They have. I don't think their offensive line's that bad. They have running backs. They have 2 really good running backs. If they add a quarterback of Matthew Stafford and they go out and get a wide receiver, I think that's a team that's like, hey, you don't want to play them in the postseason, especially with Mike Tomlin. I know people don't like Mike Tomlin right now, but if he ends up getting the quarterback like Stafford and you just listen, go get a receiver, draft one, and then also go sign one. If you do both of those things, that team's going to be set.
I mean, I don't know what the Rams are going to do when they trade him. I mean, what's like you didn't have a plan in place. You didn't take a quarterback to groom him or anything.
Oh, they did. They took one.
Stetson he's a winner. He's a winner. Don't forget that. He's a winner. And he also has a DUI, I'm pretty sure already. But yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't get why they would trade him either, to be honest with you, right now, with no plan. I mean, seriously. If you draft like Jackson Dart and trade him in a year or something, I don't know.
I have no –
I don't even know what pick to have, honestly.
I would take Jackson Dart in LA. I think that would actually be a pretty good –
I think the Saints could take him. They're in the top 10.
I don't think the Saints would go top 10 Jackson Dart. I really don't.
I don't know.
I think if anything, the Saints would move up for a guy, maybe like a Cam Ward or something, but there's no way.
Like Jackson Dart, man.
I do too. Listen, I'm
really
big on.
like
I love Jackson Dart. I just don't see a world though where they're sitting there and you're like, hey, top 10. Like he's going to be available probably in the second, unless. Listen, we're going to be at the combine in a couple weeks. Unless the combine, he just goes out there and he puts on a show, which we have seen guys do and move up.
Yeah.
And
well,
if we see that, like his interviews and all of that, like it's going to be that's going to be a big week for him. I wonder if we could, maybe we'll see him and we could talk to him. That'd be pretty sweet.
hey, you know what they can do? I have the solution. Hear me out, ETN, Rams fan. Hendon Hooker.
Huh. Okay. Hey, real quick. Let me go see if I can find this article real quick.
Hendon Hooker. There you go.
I saw a Hendon Hooker article today. Hold on.
You said you saw a Hendon Hooker article?
Yeah. Who was that? Who put that out? Hold on. It was either Doc or it was Pride of Detroit. Hold on. It might have been Pride of Detroit.
Hendon Hooker talk. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it too.
No, well, it depends what's being said. What is it?
No, if I think you're gonna like it, that's a good thing.
He's taking Goff's job. No,
no, I don't think it's
we're
that.
starting it back up.
Did this, man? Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't remember where I saw it. Maybe I was just like dreaming, dude. I don't know.
Oh,
I swear, did Doc do it and then delete? Oh, it's right here.
Let me see.
I was like, did
This
Doc
Hendon
put
Hooker
something
thing,
out and
man.
delete
What
it?
is going on?
Doc was texting me all day. I love the Doc, dude. The texts I get from him, some of the funniest of all time, man.
I know he
here it
texted
is.
me. Bleacher Report's doing him dirty. I got to reach out.
That's what I heard. I was in that group chat.
I always got his back, man. He's the best. I'll do.
He was asking me to make him some photoshops. Pull it up right now whenever you're ready.
All right, let me see. All right, I'll pull it up. All right, what do we got?
Former Patriots safety would take Hendon Hooker over Shador Sanders.
Wait.
Rodney Harrison calls Hendon Hooker a hidden gem. I'll let you. I don't know what I didn't read the full article. I was on Doc's thing. I was reading a different article. But yeah, Rodney Harrison. How about that? He says, I'll tell you this. I'm taking Hendon Hooker before I'm taking Shador Sanders. Before I'm taking Cam Ward, I'm taking that guy. I don't know. Does he say Hendon Hooker's would be the best quarterback in this draft?
Well, he said he's been rehabbing. He's been behind Jared the last couple of years. He's been with Ben Johnson, so he's going to be coached the right way. I'm telling you, this Hendon Hooker, I've been on him for a while. I think he's a hidden gem in the National Football League, and I think it'd be smart if the Jets went after him.
Wow, what pick do the Jets have in the first round?
They have a top 10 pick.
Hey, do you get if Rodney Harrison thinks he's that good, can you just say, hey, give us your first round pick for Hendon Hooker?
Yeah. Why not?
Somehow, hey, that's how you get Abdul Carter. Hey, you take Hendon Hooker, let us get Abdul Carter.
Yeah, John was on to something yesterday. Trade Hendon. Yeah, I mean, I get where he's coming from.
Sign Jameis, trade Hendon. I'm in on that. I don't care. I'm all in on that.
Trade Hendon. You know what I'll trade Hendon for? This guy right here.
By the way, hey,
I would trade this guy.
Happy Valentine's Day, Klotzy.
Happy Valentine's Day, boys. Happy
Did you get
Valentine's
my text?
Day. Which one?
Congrats.
I did. Thank you for that.
Just wanna
Thank
make
you
sure.
for that. And by the way, boys, I did just because I was listening to the show I was coming. The Rams, they're gonna move and they're gonna sign Sam Darnold. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna sign Sam Darnold like a 1-2 year deal. Who did Sam Darnold just have success under? Kevin O'Connell. Where did Kevin O'Connell come from? Sean McVay. They're going to ride Sam Darnold for probably a year or two. Let Cam Ward or Shador Sanders, whoever they want there, kind of progress under there. I agree with you, Booner, for the Giants. Like, it's brain dead. But who are we talking about?
Clean house.
The New York Giants.
Clean house.
If there's any team that's going to make that move for their team, as far as Matthew Stafford managing to sink their ship, not single-handedly, but as far as the rest of the time that they have there, it would be the Giants. So I think it's a smart move for the Rams. That, like, Stafford's not going to win you a bowl anymore.
Yeah,
he obviously already did, but no.
He said get Lucas off the show for that shit.
You watch
that
you
Sam
watch
Darnold. Sam Darnold to the Rams. He didn't like that one. Dr. Detroit, my guy, says Hooker switch first-round pick spots and a 7th rounder. Hey, I'm telling you, you know what I do think about that article? That the Jets should try and trade for Hendon. What is it going to do? I mean, it can't hurt. Aaron Glenn's been around him.
Yeah.
If you're going to move on from Aaron, start Hendon. If you lose every game this season, he helped to do something.
Costs nothing.
Yeah, go get Arch Manning, and then you're good. And figure it out. You know? So we'll see. I wanted to play this game today. It's a Valentine's Day special. And that's it. With that being said, we're going to go through and play our game. I'm going to give you names. And Lions fans, you tell me if you're still in love with this player's potential. It's a day of love. So we're going to talk about
we're strictly potential here.
Yes. Like if you think if you're Brad Holmes, are you still in love with this player? And if you don't think he's going to be anything, then say no, I'm not.
Can I give a player out first?
Is it on the list?
No.
Sure. Start. Yeah. What do you think? Who do you think?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Say, what if I was like
David Montgomery?
No, Jared Goff. Give me Jameis Winston. I'll be like you guys.
I'm in love.
He won games.
Hey, did you see the tweet too last night? There are hundreds of responses, not just like hundreds of comments.
Yeah, a lot of
80% of the people said, "Give me Jameis Winston." 80% of I had to scroll deep.
People were like, if he didn't throw interceptions, he'd be okay. If he didn't throw interceptions, he'd be starter in the NFL. Probably like a top 15 quarterback if that man didn't have turnovers.
The way he throws the ball.
Like you cannot deny Jameis, my God,
Dude,
Jameis Winston.
If
is not a
imagine
good
Dan Campbell
backup.
Like someone commented, like Dan Campbell would have a heart attack with this.
No, he would love Jameis Winston. Oh my gosh, you don't know Dan. I thought you all knew Dan Campbell. You obviously don't know what Dan Campbell loves guys like Jameis Winston. That's like a Dan Campbell guy.
Don't tell me Jameis Winston's gonna give him a headache before Cam Sutton, the off-field issues he's had with Jameson Williams. Why? You think they're gonna keep a guy after he smacks a woman? No, they're not. They got it on Cam.
Jeff,
they got Jameson Williams around.
Jeff,
we're not going down this road.
He has the same mentality as a player as Jamal Williams.
This will be a 2-hour. This will be a 2-hour sparring session.
You're in a tough spot, Jeff. You're dead wrong with this one. You're in a really bad spot with this one.
Nope. No way.
Objectively wrong.
No way. No how.
You just keep burying or digging your grave deeper and deeper.
I'm chilling. I got a cocktail by the beach, and I'm just chilling. I'm out here. Nothing's happening.
That's crazy.
Bro's in the Lulu can.
Dude's got what are those Shirley Temple just sitting there.
Shirley Temple.
It's got a little red.
You can't even say the dirty Shirley. Why not gotta have a Shirley Temple? No alcohol.
It's a Shirley Temple with the red umbrella on the top of it.
and then he hops in the ocean real quick, gets attacked by a shark, and
he'll get out. And be like,
Jameis laughed.
So refreshing, and lay back down, and catch some rays on the beach towel. Take
Scotty,
an occasional dip to cool off.
You know what, Scotty? I appreciate that. You know what? Jeff versus everybody. I'm just like Drake today. Worked out pretty well for him.
Scotty, look at Scotty, man. Hey, shout out Scotty B, man. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
He's buffed up.
I'm battling. I need some
all the help you can get. I understand. I would be too.
No, I don't need no help. Like I said, it's 300.
I've got no more comments. We got to move on quick.
All right, let me. I'll put a poll.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I would love to see. I mean, the poll. Honestly, I don't know if I would trust the poll now because I think it just might be people want to be on your side. But if you go look at the tweet,
no. You trust
Twitter,
Booner. That's Twitter, but you don't trust our
chat. That makes our side look scared.
Hold on.
Stop.
No, our chat's the final say.
Hold on. No, I want to see something real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna trust Twitter. Twitter had
No, I trust
15,000. They had 92 people vote on it, basically. I'll go after the show tonight. You know what I'll do? Well, no, 15,000 views. There was 15,000 views, 92 comments. So I wanted to say 15,000 comments, but I butchered that one.
Yeah,
I really don't. I'm with Jeff a little. Yeah,
Twitter.
honestly, I am with Jeff a little bit. I think Twitter is there. It is a fake world. It
It's
is such
fake.
a fake world.
It's fake.
Because Jeff had that situation the other day where what it is I think it's just like slappies trying to. There's like a world of slappies that try and like, I don't know. What am I going here with this?
It's just a lot of things that happen on Twitter are not. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Propaganda. It's a propaganda machine.
Yeah.
You understand me? It's spreading false narrative, false lies.
Yeah.
I love Twitter though. Like when I tweet something and it goes viral.
App by far.
Yeah, but it's addicting. When you tweet something and it goes viral, you're like, yes, I need that again. That was thrilling. Like that picture, I just posted that picture and it's really like 15 million views. I was like,
oh Amon-Ra the helmet.
Dude, I was like, oh my gosh, man.
It just happens, you know.
It's thrilling, dude.
All right, let's
we're done with that.
In honor of it being Valentine's Day,
Got some Valentine's, man. Like,
you tell me, are you still in love with this player's potential? Oh, I don't know what. Hold on, no. I don't know what. I'm not sure what type of day you want to have, Boone, but this ain't it. All right,
What's going on here?
This ain't it. I don't know. Let's just move on here. Hopefully, I don't.
Sorry, that's on me.
All right, first player. I'll start with you, Boone. Broderick Martin.
Oh no! I mean, this is supposed to be a nice day, man. This is a good holiday. Why now I'm single?
On Valentine's Day.
Now I'm single shot. So what's the? Can we?
No.
What's the actual question?
It's okay. So the question is, are you still in love
right.
with his potential? It's not even about like.
Oh, I love that.
Will he be cut? Like, do you still have faith this player will be?
Go single cam.
All right. Oh, my bad.
Broderick Martin. I'm still in love with his potential. I love. Hey, the ceiling. Hey, the ceiling hasn't changed for Broderick Martin. It's about. I think the question this last 2 years is, will he ever get there? Am I still in love with his potential? The potential's still there. Will he get there? No clue. Zero clue. That's why I love the fact that you asked the question that way, because I have zero. The Broderick thing, it's one of those. It's like Levi O or like Josh Pascal the last 2 years. It's like, all right, they're in year 3, year 4. It's at what point do we get something out of them? We're starting to get to that point with Broderick, right? Like it's just like I think there's no more. What's the best way I could put this?
It's shit or get off the pot.
There's no more expectations for Broderick Martin. That's where it is. Like, I don't have expectations for him anymore. Hey, just go out there. Like, he's on a rookie deal. Just go out there. If you end up developing and turning into something beautiful, then awesome. If not, all right, when your deal's up, all right, we'll move on. Like, that's how I look at it. To me, it's just like, it's as simple as that. He's got the ceiling. Can he get to the ceiling? If he can't, all right, we're done. Let's move on.
Not a chance. Not a chance. There's no way in hell that I would say that I am in love with Broderick Martin's potential, what I've seen after the last couple of seasons. A Broderick Martin wouldn't even be a side piece. He'd be like the side piece's ugly best friend that just yaps, and ends up blowing your cover. That's what Broderick Martin is, because we got a chance. We got a glimpse to see the potential of what Broderick Martin, the man out of Western Kentucky, could be against the Green Bay Packers. And that man got dog walked every time he was on the field. So no, Broderick Martin, I wouldn't say great experiment, but it was an experiment by Brad, and this one did not pan out correctly. No, not a chance with Broderick Martin.
Yeah, I've fell out of love. I fell out of love with Broderick Martin's potential. Like
guys hate people.
I think Broderick may be heading towards a bad case, a BFN. Bad case.
What's that?
Oh, you haven't heard?
I haven't.
Big for nothing. That's what that's what he's heading towards right now.
Jeff, he's there. He has arrived. He has arrived.
Now, can I play in National Football League? Absolutely not. But it takes one to know one. And I know Broderick right now has not panned out to be, what was he, a 3rd-round pick? Yeah, no.
Traded up for him.
I think they traded for him too.
Yeah,
man.
BFN, man.
Don't want to be that guy. Listen, Jeff, I know you don't like Brad Holmes, according to the people out in the Twitter world, But
He's a loser.
no. But I mean, that's just another Brad Holmes defensive line miss. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what's tough about it. Is he used picks to go get him, and that proves your points why you hate Brad Holmes.
He's not going to hit on every pick. That was a miss. We can all say at this point, unless he just wakes up.
It's the same again. It's the same thing. I think you're just right now. It's like if you were like making a couple bins here, like starters, Hall of Fame, this. You're throwing him in the same bin as Levi O and Josh Pascal. Like that's where they were like last year.
I wouldn't even give him
not now, but I'm saying like their year 2, where you're like you've literally got nothing out of them, and they were second round picks. You wasted a second round to where everyone kind of threw them in that bin and was like, hey, if they don't give us anything, like they've shown not. Maybe Josh in the playoffs last year showed something, but like Levi, like those, like you essentially had nothing to show for any of it. And it's like that's just where Broderick is. Right, his year 2 is the same year 2 as those guys. That's how I look at it. To where those guys they bounce back a little bit, where you can have those conversations with Josh Pascal. But this year is like if you see nothing out of Broderick, he's in that. It's done. It's a tough one. What did you say? BF what?
BFN. Big for nothing.
All right.
Yeah. That's he's got
that sweatshirt you got over there, Klotzy. It looks like you have like a Jesus gown on.
A Jesus. What would be a Jesus gown?
A Jesus gown.
What a Jesus gown is.
Like a robe.
Yeah. He's just wearing a robe.
Like a robe.
Shows up in a robe. I mean,
I think he's got a robe on. He looks like the Michelin man. Look at him.
So, hey,
you trying to say something here, Boone?
Ghostbusters.
Trying to get something off
looks
your
like
chest? Go ahead, say it. Feeling froggy,
What?
better leap.
What?
You tell me.
Yeah. You played
Jeff, give me the next Valentine, please.
All right, the next Valentine.
What was that about?
Am
I feeling something? I'm feeling something. All right, feel good.
Oh, okay. The next
Great,
Valentine.
I'm feeling good.
You tell me. Have you fallen out of love with this player's potential or not? Ennis Rakestraw.
I'm first.
Yeah, you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Hey,
throw Newt back to me. I'm still in love with Ennis Rakestraw. He was hurt all year. There's a reason Ennis Rakestraw is a second round pick. I think this is a year, and this is the biggest offseason for Ennis Rakestraw because he can go in there, and I know, boys, Terrion, all that. Ennis can go in there and compete for a position to start on this team, I think. Like I think his ceiling's there. And there was a reason he was a second round pick. One, his talent, and that's why he was such a high, everyone looked at him as so highly. But number 2, drops out of the first round because of injuries. If he can find a way to avoid injuries and stay healthy, Ennis Rakestraw has a bright future. I think we just have to start. Like he has to be able to show it to the Detroit Lions fans. So listen, I'm in love. I'm still falling in love with the ceiling of Ennis Rakestraw. I have high hopes for him. It was his rookie year. He was injured, which we knew that he was going to be because he was an injury-prone player. But I'm excited to see him this offseason and see what he can do. I think he can compete. If he wants to play that nickel position, I think we had a conversation in the offseason about him at that position. I think he's going to have an opportunity to do so, compete with Terrion, compete with Amik. And he's going to have an opportunity to play, man. He just has to show up and stay healthy.
I'm torn.
There's
torn,
no way.
fellas, because here's the thing. I like Ennis Rakestraw. I find it very hard for him to get on the field this year to show his potential. When I look at Brian Branch, obviously he's going to be in the safety. They'll rotate him down at nickel sometimes. But Amik Robertson's the one thing where it's like, what are we truly going to see out of Ennis this year? Because on the outside, I don't think Ennis Rakestraw on the outside is where Ennis Rakestraw is going to thrive, especially either you're going to bring in Carlton Davis back or bring in another free agent. Then you're going to have Terrion Arnold on the outside. Those are your 2 outside guys. Unless Terrion Arnold shits the bed and is an absolute bust, which I do not think is going to be the case. I think he improves. He's going to be on the outside with whoever else you sign. On the inside at the nickel spot, I do not see Amik Robertson losing that job anytime soon unless there's someone clearly better than him. And at this point right now, I don't think Ennis is that. Not saying that Ennis cannot be bad, but right now, could be an on-again, off-again thing here. But right now, I have fallen out of love with Ennis Rakestraw. Not so much because of the player, but at the position he's in. I think he's in a hard spot to produce with the season that Amik Robertson just had.
I'll say You know what? Ennis to me is like somebody you got love for. Maybe they've shown things that make you. It's like some red flags, but you just have hope that maybe those red flags will turn into green flags. That's where I'm at with Ennis. I'm still in love with his potential, but I'm like, hopefully just staying healthy. That's a big one. And then I want to know what the whole nickel thing is this year. Can he play outside? Can he not? Is he strictly a nickel guy? So there's a couple more questions I want to answer, but I won't really know this answer until next offseason. So I'm going to still say I'm in love with his potential.
All right, thank you. I was going to say you can't say you're out of love and then be like, I still think that he can. No, that's not how this game works.
Hey, Klotzy, he can.
Yeah,
either you're in or you're out. You're in or you're out.
I'm out. I'm out. And
That's crazy.
You're asking me between
a rookie
to choose between two, Amik or Ennis. I'm gonna favor Ennis.
I don't think you have to choose.
Sorry,
I don't think you have to choose though. Like I still think it's like, hey, he's coming to come in there and compete. Like, dude, we talk all the time about this corner room. Jeff, I think I said it to I keep saying it to you the most. It's like I want to see them bring guys in there to compete and make these guys play better. And it's like they're out because Ennis was hurt all year. Outside of that, no one was like Kendall Vildor's in there competing. No offense, Kendall, great person. But like he's in there competing. Like, no, like you need guys. I think you can still bring another guy in to compete. But I think Ennis, like when he's healthy going into year two, there's a reason he was a second round pick. He has everything it takes to do that. He stays healthy. He's going to compete and he's going to push those guys to get to a different level. And if those guys don't get to that different level, and I have faith that Ennis can be like, hey, I'll take that spot. Like we know what he can do. We've seen it. Brad Witten got him in the second round for a reason. So I do think there's still. I'm not throwing that one out yet. I'm not. I'm keeping that one on the side.
I think it's It would be unfortunate if you didn't see much of him this year. Like I want to see him play. Like in the preseason, you'll see him, so we'll know a little more. But I just want to see him play. Like I don't even know really what. I mean, I don't have much of an opinion on him. I just know I didn't love him coming out of the draft, but who knows? Next player I have for you guys. Okay, are you still in love with this player's potential, or are you out? You fell out of love. Josh Paschal.
Thoughts? I'll let you go first.
Ouch. He's not paying. No, Josh Paschal, good role player for probably a lot of teams in the NFL, but you were a second-round pick. A second-round pick, a guy that was brought in with Aiden Hutchinson, was thought to be a piece that you could build around with this defensive line. Not only has he been hurt, but he's still struggled to develop, and you just had one of the best defensive line coaches in the NFL in Terrell Williams, and maybe he progressed a little bit, but he looks pretty much the exact same as he did finishing off the year last year, which is disappointing because this was a year he had full opportunity to show what he could display on the field. Couldn't consistently get to the quarterback, was solid against the run, but at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning of it, second-round pick, out on Paschal.
Hey, remember 2 years ago, boys, I said, hey, Charles Harris, the Aquara brothers, I said it's time to move on from some guys. I love Josh Paschal. No, not loved. I thought he was, hey, this guy's going to give you something. He still might have a little bit in him. I think it's time to try something new. I've fallen all the way out of love with Josh Paschal. I want to go out there. Listen, I'm sending that text being like, hey, we got to talk. This isn't going to work out. You know, have you guys ever got that? I've gotten that. Hey, we gotta have,
you gotta have that talk with him.
Yeah. I'm having that conversation with Josh. But hey, I got to go find some greener grass on the other side here. Hey, we need some new pastures. Is that the saying?
You go find yourself, Boone.
Yeah, I need to go find someone who really cares about me and who wants to work with me because you're not doing it. And that's the problem with Josh Paschal. It's like he does have some potential, but you're not getting it consistently. But you do see it. Like you see it. We saw it all the time. The run game was unbelievable. Schiff got said the text of death. Oh yes.
Dude, Schiff's been on fire.
That is hilarious, dude.
Southfield chick.
We've all got that one.
Yeah, well, I'll say for me, and I'm on the stand actually because I've been a huge Josh Paschal supporter. I've been a huge one. I've always loved his potential coming out of the draft, not as like in his role. I thought, man, on third down, he could be defensive tackle for you, provide some juice. All these tackle for losses in college, like I like it. Captain at Kentucky. I'm with you, Boone. Like, it's getting to a point where we got to have that talk. Maybe it's better if we go separate ways. It's not me or it's not you, it's me. That kind of talk. I got to have that with Josh because
can I be honest too with it? Because I'm good to move on with Josh, but the argument I make with John Kaminsky all the time, to where it was maybe John or Josh Pascal in his career was always meant to be a rotational guy, not a starter.
Yeah.
And this year he ended up having it thrown into the fire as a starting edge, essentially.
That's probably what it is.
And it didn't work out for him. Maybe if you keep him around and he is like your back again, one of those back end guys, that's where I think I could see him being good. But again, I think you need to go out there and get someone above him. Like you need to get a player that's more consistent and has a higher ceiling than him on the other side. And then maybe you can still keep him.
It's potential. I agree with you. I think he should be around. I think he's a good rotational piece. But in terms of what I thought it coming out potential, I don't know.
Yeah. It sucks because he's a second round player. And that's what's brutal about it. That's what hurts.
Fell out of love with that one. All right. Next player I have. I'm gonna switch it up, go on the other side of the ball here. Throw you guys a little curveball. All right. You guys in love with this player's potential or not? Falling out of love. That player, a little older, but still where people thought he was to where he is. Graham Glasgow.
Oh, I'll say it. I'll go first. I'm falling. I love Graham. Michigan man, I'm all in on Graham. Love him. Give me Christian Mahogany. Christian Mahogany. I'm at that point. Like, I think Christian Mahogany is going to be an unbelievable guard in the NFL. Who do you replace him? Like, if you bring Kevin Zeitler back, you're not benching Kevin Zeitler. It's got to be Graham. I said it actually at the end of the season. I brought it up to Doc, and I said, hey, if you look at the offensive line, let Graham Glasgow. He's under contract. Let him be your sixth man. If Frank needs a game off, if Zeitler goes down, if Mahogany goes down, you have Graham next man up. That's a great sixth man. He is a starter this year. He struggled, but as your sixth man, if you need someone to step in, I think Graham's like very trustworthy. I really do.
Yeah, very well said, Boone. Very well eloquated. I would agree with you there as well. Graham Glasgow, he's a role guy, and that's what he was brought in to do here in Detroit. Got put in a position this year where he had to start, and towards the end of the year, like, he was just bad. Like, he was a liability at some points on the offensive line. Taylor Decker right next to him wasn't playing the best football either, so that left side really just glared at the worst moments. I mean, you look at that playoff game, it was embarrassing. Got caught up, boys. Embarrassing at some spots where you'd watch that Washington Commanders pass rush just be able to abuse them. And then even in the run game at some points, they'd stall out and they wouldn't be able to get the run game going. So I agree with you, Boone. Bring in Mahogany. I'm out on Graham.
Yeah, it's not like this question means in potential like he's going to be like a Hall of it. All it means is a starter. His potential as a solid starter. I've fallen out of love with it, to be honest with you. I think I'm with you guys. Christian Mahogany is probably going to take that spot next year, in my opinion. I know he's a right guard. He would have to transition, but he should have enough time to do that. I like his potential, to be honest with you. So I think Graham, I'm with Malik. Graham's sixth man. I think he's a great sixth man, can play center, play guard. But to start, I've fallen in love. I've fallen out of love with that, to be honest with you. And again, Graham's, you want him around. But they gave him that extension. We all thought solid starter for the next couple of years. I don't think that's guaranteed right now. All right, next player, same side of the ball. We just talked about him. Have you fallen out of love, or are you still in love? Hendon Hooker.
Oh, Boone.
Out. I'm out. I'm sorry too, because you know what, Hendon might have a really good ceiling. Listen, this is where I'm at with Hendon. I think he has potential, and we're not going to be able to see it. The only thing that strikes me, and I said this yesterday, boys, that really gets like I get a little nervous about, and I think Lions fans as well should have this same thought process, is the fact that Teddy Bridgewater was coaching high school football and came in and ended up being the backup. Like that, to me, that's like very, very showing. You know, that's the problem. And it's like you had a guy to where going into the season, Dan and them preached and said, no, Hendon's the second guy. He's the second guy. He's the second. Like, he's your backup. He's your backup. And everyone kept saying that. Jeff, you were one of the biggest ones on it. But then all of a sudden, you're about to get into a playoff run, and they go, hey, we're bringing Teddy in. Like, first of all, how do you think Hendon felt? But then on the outside looking in, all of us are sitting there going, like, what's going on with Hendon Hooker? You used a pick. Didn't they trade up for Hendon Hooker? Or they trade back?
Sure I don't know. I can't remember if I'm being
They either
honest.
traded up or traded back, but either way, it's like, dude, you took him pretty high up in the draft when you needed other pieces, and then that was part of your developmental thing. To me, it's like, hey, go sign again. I'll stay on this, like a Jameis Winston or a backup quarterback. And if you want to use Hendon as a trade asset, go ahead, because like Jared Goff's locked in for the next 2 or 3 years, right? Like he is your quarterback. You are not going anywhere with Hendon Hooker unless you want him, and unless you have this. All right. Unless you have any thought process that you do want Hendon to take over the next 2 years, you probably should move on because he wasn't your backup in year 2. Like to me, that's very, very telling.
Yeah, I don't need to say too much either. I'm out on Hendon Hooker. I really never loved the pick. I think Booner, why I kind of like when you said Broderick Martin's going to go into Levi and Josh Pascal, because Broderick probably never going to step on the field for meaningful snaps, at least in the postseason. Neither will Hendon Hooker. Both these guys, 3rd, 4th round picks, wherever they fell. I believe both 3rd. Those guys go in a category of their own of just, honestly, waste of picks. And I know that might seem kind of harsh to say, but that's what they are. But Broderick Martin was in year 3 this year, or year 2, my fault. And he's in civilian clothes. That's a 3rd round pick. Let's go look at the Chiefs' 3rd round pick, the Eagles' 3rd round pick, hell, even the Packers' 3rd round pick. They might not be starting, but they're not in street clothes on the sideline. And Hendon Hooker, he's a guy that was going to be a backup quarterback, obviously, but they have no intention of playing with him. And I think you would be hearing more out of camp, out of Allen Park, if they trusted Hendon Hooker and they were seeing strides in his potential. Because even when you have a good quarterback like Jared Goff, if there's a backup doing nice things in camp, you hear reports, and there hasn't been consistently good ones with Hendon Hooker, so I'm out on Hendon.
Oh, this is a tougher draft, man. 2-0. You can't even be the tiebreaker, man. It's already over.
Yeah, well, it's I'm battling. I'm battling right now. This is where I'm at. I actually don't disagree that it's a wasted pick, because it frustrates me because I'm sure Hendon Hooker's frustrated. Like, he's not going to know what he really is until he gets into another team. They should have just let some other team take him, if I'm being honest with you. At least you would have found out. I am still in love with Hendon Hooker. Okay. Not as a high-level elite quarterback, but I don't really know what to make of him because we have not. Okay, Ray. Hold on, Ray. Ray, I get it. We can't go that route right now. All right, Ray, we can't go down that road right now. But what I will say is, with another franchise, I still have faith. I do. I agree with Rodney Harrison. I think there's something there with Hendon. I just don't think you'll ever really see it here because there's no opportunity. So maybe it's, I'm sure there's men and women out there. Someone has toxic traits, and you just, you know what?
What?
I still like the guy, like, who knows? Should I not be in love with him? Probably.
Could you imagine if Hendon Hooker were to be traded somewhere and just fucking
There's a really high possibility.
Yeah.
Imagine he ends up going to a Super Bowl before the Lions. That would be like
goes. Sean McVay calls up Hendon Hooker, like you guys were saying. And
he's like, come over.
Oh my god.
He's like the Jaden Daniels.
Goes to the New York Jets with that defense and those weapons that.
Yeah, I'm still, man.
Tanner, and oh my gosh, that would be, honestly, I'm going to say this. Imagine a world where Hendon Hooker gets traded to the Jets. Taking the Jets to the Super Bowl with Aaron Glenn as the head coach, Tanner as the DC or the OC.
It's like Lions light.
And then they play the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh.
How much would your perspective of Brad Holmes change if that happened?
My heart would drop.
It wouldn't, because that's not Brad's. It would be better that he drafted Hendon and he was really good. But I would look at the coaching staff and say, what the fuck are you guys evaluating?
Hold on. No.
Say that again?
Because if Brad drafts the guy in the 3rd round, and again, this is completely hypothetical. If Brad were to draft the guy in the 3rd round, refuse to put him at the backup quarterback spot, just the backup quarterback.
No, that's Dan. Dan's job's to do that.
Who acquired Teddy Bridgewater?
Dan and Brad.
Teddy was like, "Hey, we're signing you for the rest of the
Brad's
season."
not making decisions like who should back up and start, who should. That's all coaching.
if Brad Holmes was like, Teddy, we need you, or if Brad Holmes was like, no, Dan, like we're not bringing Teddy back in. Brad Holmes at the end of the day makes the call. It doesn't. Like he's the guy who decides.
To be fair, I think you both listen.
And hold on, let me finish my point. Now you trade him, and you go to a situation, the New York Jets, who have never, outside of Joe Namath, had a good quarterback, and you take them in the AFC to a Super Bowl. That instantly, with that roster compared to the Lions, you're trading away the better quarterback at that point. And that is a move where I look at you like, he wouldn't be terrible, but it would change my perspective for sure.
Klotz, I will say,
it'd be like letting. Go ahead.
I was just saying, you just keep bringing up the same statements here. I'm going to cut all this off right now for both of you. It's 50% both ways. Like this isn't just on Brad, and it's not just on Dan. Dan's the head coach. Like Klotz, if you think that Brad makes the 100% decision to bring Teddy back, wrong. And Jeff, if you think Dan's 100% to bring Teddy back, wrong. Like they both, like Dan has a relationship with Teddy. Hey, we should look at this. Brad, hey, okay, let's look at this. They come together on a solution. Like they've been very open that those two guys communicate at like the highest of levels to make these decisions. If they don't think Hendon, like if Dan doesn't think Hendon's ready, that's on, and he ends up going into a Super Bowl, that's on Dan. And it's like Brad's out there watching, and Brad's making some of these decisions as well, to where he has the opportunity that those two are so in lockstep that if Brad went to Dan and said, hey, Hendon, like this is a thing. Like, what do we want to do with Jared Goff? Like, because guess who made the contract with Jared Goff? Brad. So like, hey, like that's a communication thing between head coach and GM. This isn't this is all on Dan. No, that's on you two. Hey, if our show went down, that's on us. It's not on one. No, it's on us. It's the same thing with that. It's on those two. There's no like, hey, it's more Dan. Those guys both make the decisions, and they both look into it just as much. They've said that a million times. A million times.
That's fair. Now, there could be another scenario we're not even talking about, where he just goes to the Jets and stinks. I mean,
100%. And then it looks good for Dan and Brad, and we're sitting over there going,
yeah. I mean, that could happen too. All right.
Did they hire a quarterbacks coach yet? The New York Jets?
Was
it someone from Detroit?
I don't know.
Wonder who that would be. JT went to Chicago. I don't know who else there was. I don't think so.
Charles London.
Oh yeah, Charles London. I know who that is.
Yep. He was with Gino in Seattle.
Was that sarcastic from Klotz?
It was. He was like, oh, Charles London. Yeah, him.
I was just sure. I just sat there, like like the penguins in Madagascar, just
smile and wave. Boy.
Charles London.
Smile and wave. All right, next, two more players.
Okay.
Both defensive players. This next player plays the same position. We talked a similar position we talked about before. Are you still in love with this player, or have you fallen out of love with his potential? Terran Arnold.
Oh, of course, you guys just turned my camera on.
You've been going first, Boone.
Yeah,
it's the hot seat ones.
Yeah, every time they're like close, I'm like, someone else. I'll go though. I would say I'm still in love with his ceiling. I think Terrion started to like learn. Like it was like like when you're growing up on a roller coaster, it's just a nice gradual increase. I think that's what was happening with Terrion in his rookie year. I do think though, like this season's like a prove it season. I know it's quick because it's year 2, but you got him in like, hey, listen, Terrion, like you're a first round pick. Like the expectations are higher than like an Ennis Rakestraw in the second round or someone in the 4th or 5th round. Like you get taken in the first round, like that's a big deal in my opinion. And you have to be able to show that. And I think you saw stretches and you saw good spots of Terrion this season. I think it had just like, hey, you got to get a lot more consistent. You have to. It has to happen because again, boys, what did I say when you drafted Terrion? It's going to be tough for him because he's coming into a Super Bowl expectation of a team. And Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell went into the Eagles right away. And they dominated and they had great seasons. And I think Terrion, that it's a tougher look on him for that happening. But I think this year 2 is like it's huge for him. He needs to show something. I'm still in love with his ceiling and his potential though, boys. I'm not out on him yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to truly panic about Terrion Arnold. Honestly, Terrion Arnold's rookie season this year was probably better than Jeff Okudah's whole career in Detroit combined. I understand he didn't have any interceptions, a lot of penalties, but you saw why they drafted Terrion Arnold. There was plays in games where he'd be stride for stride with a wide receiver one down the field. But then, okay, he's guarding wide receiver ones, covering wide receiver ones, especially when Carlton Davis went out. Man-to-man coverage, like, yeah, he's going to get burnt. He doesn't have a front seven in front of him as well. Terrion Arnold is a guy that I still think the sky's the limit for him. He's going to take a year two jump. He's not going to be a lockdown corner in year two. I don't think that. But you're going to see him slowly start taking strides to become a cornerback one in the NFL. I think he has everything it takes. Good in the run game. Check. You saw there was some spurts of tackling where it'd be a little shaky, but against the run, Terrion Arnold was very good. A lot of times corners can't even tackle on the perimeter. So I didn't love what I saw out of Terrion year one, but like I said, I'd give it like a B plus, or not a B plus, a C plus, B minus type of year. So Terrion, he'll be all right. I'm still in love with Terrion.
Hey, shout out to Terrion joining the show here. Shout out Terrion. It's his burner, but Terrion's watching.
No, Rick's. I'm going to be honest, Rick. I agree with.
Shout out Rick.
I agree with that statement, though. It's unfair to really fully judge him based on the injuries. I mean, the guy had guys off the street essentially rushing the quarterback. I'm willing to give him slack there. It's a tough job already playing corner. It's even tougher when you don't have a pass rush. So I'll give him some slack. The penalties, like that's a whole nother thing. He got better as the season went on, but then ended rough against the Commanders. It was a rough game for him. So, I'm still in love with this potential right now. Like, he's kind of not in the Ennis category because we haven't even seen Ennis. At least I saw Terrion play. But I'm where I am with him. I'm the same place I am with Ennis. It's like still in love with him right now. I'm willing to give it another year. So I'll say that. Last player. He's a free agent. Are you in love with this player or not? Levi Onwuzurike.
No. I'm out. I'll just be quick with that. No. That was my guy all offseason. I'm done. I'm out.
I switched up. I said I'm out on Levi, and then I was convinced that Levi Onwuzurike is going to be something. Went to training camp and all over social media, all over the Detroit Lions world, you hear about the breakout star that Levi Onwuzurike is about to become. Even though they just brought in DJ Reader, why would they do that if Levi Onwuzurike is about to be a fucking stud? Either way, he got his chances. And there was some times when he looked pretty good. And then for about 75% of the rest of the regular season, he didn't do much. And again, second-round pick. He was in what, year four? So he has no more excuses, not a chance. I'd be willing to spend more than $3 million on a one-year deal for Levi Onwuzurike to come back to the Detroit Lions. I am out.
Yeah, I'm out. Too many red flags. I mean, last year, I thought he had a decent year. To me, not worth being in love with his potential or be enough to argue, unless you want him as depth, to bring him back. Like, let him sign with the Jets. Allow him to go over there, play with Aaron Glenn. So I am out on Levi Onwuzurike as well. But there you have it. Those are the names. Jared Goff. No, I'm just kidding. We won't go that route.
Out.
No.
Playoff performance out. Not winning a game with him.
No.
All right. Hey, come on now.
No.
Over in that robe over there.
That was really all the players I thought of that were shaky. Like shaky or questionable. A lot of them. They have a lot of good players, by the way. So it's hard to point out guys like Amon-Ra. You in love with his potential?
Yeah. J-Mo.
Yeah, they have a.
Would you still be in love with his potential after a 1,000-yard season?
Hey, what about Brock Wright?
Yeah, they re-signed him.
Gave him a pretty good deal, like 20-something million, right?
Mm-hmm. Pat O'Connor.
Hey, $20 million to catch a touchdown a year.
It's
you got paid $20 million.
I think it was like 3 years, 20 million. I could be wrong. I think what happened though, remember, might not be 20 million. I might be overthinking it there. But I think what happened was, remember the Sanford. Oh, it's 3 years, 12 million. Sorry.
4
was a
years.
little off.
I can sleep better now.
Like, 4 years. I just remember the 49ers gave him like a deal and the Lions had to match it and they did. Like, I don't even think the 49ers really, and it's bad, but I don't think the 49ers really even wanted him. I think they were like another contending team in the conference. Let's run this guy's price up.
Yeah,
that's what I think happened.
What if the Lions didn't though?
Then they're stuck paying for Brock Wright.
I think I think they kind of want. He's a good tight end too. Like, he's
great tight end too. One of the best tight end twos in the NFL. In my opinion.
I like it. Bernie, if you guys ask about Iffy, I mean, would we agree on Iffy, or is there anyone that still likes his potential, or what? I mean,
he's just one of those ones too. Like his potential's there. Like we know what he is when he's healthy. It's just the injuries, dude. It's like whether or not you want to deal with that. Just year after year. It's just 2 years ago he doesn't play all season, goes off at the end. The same year you're like so excited to get him back, and then injured. It wasn't even like one injury. It was like got injured, comes off IR, gets injured again, back on IR, and then, it's just like. If he stays healthy, I think he'd be great. And you could and you have the option to move Branch to nickel if you want. Like you do have options to work with Iffy, but it's the injuries. And it's like if you can go get a guy that's healthy all year and can give you a little bit of what Iffy gives you, then that's better than what Iffy gives you when he's not healthy, right? Like because you're paying him money. And it's like when we're without him, remember who was like Brandon Joseph, shout out Brandon Joseph, but like that's your next safety up. Maurice Norris was playing significant snaps in the playoffs because like you're like what if someone goes down Carlton
that was
like Amit goes down, it's like Maurice Norris is out there making moves and you're like, oh my gosh, man, like you can't have it. It's just signing guys that are injured. It's
you're burnt out from the mind games, Boone. The manipulation, thinking you're gonna be there, they're gonna be there and they're not. Need a shoulder
it's trust.
to cry on.
I have trust issues with some players now, dude. It's like some of these guys are so good. But like you're like you just get so excited. You're like, I see that.
Yeah,
potential.
if you're not available, it's hard to be like in love with your potential. He's just not available. I like him as a player, but
it's like we're sticking to a Valentine's Day, right? It's like seeing like a girl or someone. It's like, oh my gosh, that's the most beautiful girl in the world. And then you meet the person, and it's like the worst human of all time, and you're like, whoa, what's happened here?
Yeah. They just start ghosting you,
Yeah, and you're just like, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, you get a text, hey, and you're like, okay, they're back from the IR. What's happening?
Yeah. And then it's a great 2-month stretch, and then back on IR.
You don't have any consistency. You can't build rapport. It's like I can't build rapport with Iffy, man.
Yeah. No, it's
Boone says he wants to build rapport with a woman in a relationship. Where's our rapport at in our relationship?
Yeah,
I think our rapport is.
All right, maybe that word wasn't. Maybe that was the wrong word. I apologize. That's
but no, Boone.
My wording needs. I need to get to a dictionary. I need to start.
I thought it was a good word, Boone. Don't get me
Thank
wrong.
you.
Yeah,
I saw something
sophisticated word for this situation. That's all.
Yeah,
I brought him up a lot over the last few weeks. But John Gruden was talking about when he did Monday Night Football, or when he was calling games, and he said he always tried to get like 5-syllable words to make himself sound smarter, and he would like find a new one every week. I might start doing that.
Boone, word of the week.
That's a John Gruden thing. Yeah, that's a John Gruden thing, man.
Despicable.
Yeah, a new word. That's a good one. Surprise us too. Just come on the show and drop a random word.
That was a four to 5 syllables because 5 stuff.
You need to have like a pair of glasses that you put on after you say the word.
Yeah, I've got my ref hat over here. I don't know what else I have.
No, can't do that. You need to get like one of those hats that they wore like in like the Sherlock Holmes times. Make your like put on like a pipe with some glasses and the hat.
Oh, it's like the Bryson DeChambeau hat. Yeah.
It's the Bryson DeChambeau. You just call it his own hat. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know the name of the hat, but
no, I don't know. I don't either. All right, you want to we'll save some of the stuff for next week. Honestly, you want to just get into the mock draft. You want to get in the national mock.
Yeah,
we'll do the whole mock and talk about it. We'll get to the Lions pick. So
Daytona 500 this week. One of the biggest spectacles in all of sports.
You in the Daytona. I wonder, people in the chat, are you guys watching the Daytona?
Dude, shout out D-Mac too. I'm going to text D-Mac tomorrow too. I'm going to get.
Are people actually locking in? Are they?
Dude, it's one of the greatest events of the season of the year. Klotz, can I get a little respect here? I respect your sports. I respect you.
I'm with you.
All I ask, Klotz, is for a little respect for my friends. I can't get that. Okay, noted. When you guys want something out of me. When you need me, I won't be there. I will not be there. Kyle Busch has
Z's in the chat.
All right. I'll call D-Mac. I'll have the conversation with D-Mac, my real friend.
Hey, Ball Don't Lie said, I'm not trying to watch cars turn left.
All right, Ball Don't Lie. Don't do it then.
Give him hell, Danny Hamlin. Give it all you got.
You're not allowed to have this conversation, Clark. Noted.
Oh, Rick.
You
own the censorship, huh, Boone?
Noted.
Huh?
Noted.
You just slept.
You just went to sleep
in the
for
United
5
States
minutes.
of America.
You just went to
The
sleep
best
for
part
5
about
minutes.
NASCAR is when they go mic'd up in the pit crews. That's funny.
All right,
I like
then you
that.
should watch it for that. I was excited to say my piece about the Daytona 500. I won't say it anymore. I'll hold it. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call D-Mac. I'll call my friend and we'll have the conversation about it since no one wants to have it with me.
Yeah, D-Max, you guys have always loved it. You guys,
Yeah.
That's fair.
And we both are big fans of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is yet to win a Daytona 500.
Is it fair to say this, Stephen David? The mullet makes more sense.
People say if you don't win it, that's what the biggest. It's bigger than winning. It's
like
the
Dan Marino of NASCAR.
He's won the championship, but like sometimes like championships are big. He has 2 championships, but sometimes people don't look at that. Some people look at Daytona 500. It's like that's like the coveted. It's like the winning the Masters in golf. It's the Daytona 500 is very coveted. Sorry, what were the chats? I'm sorry. I dreamed last year, dude. It was like one of the most heartbreaking moments of my life. I've waited forever for Kyle Busch to win a Daytona 500. He's coming around turn 3 or turn 4 to win it and crashes. And it was just like one of the most heartbreaking moments of my life. I bet on him, everything about it. This is Jeff. This is where I mute Klotzy because I don't want to hear the story when I'm talking. All right. Next time Klotzy's interested in something, I'm going to snore while he's talking.
Yeah, you do it, Boone. You have the right to.
Disrespect.
Klotzy, next time he's hyping up some mid-album.
Sorry. Hey, when I want to have a conversation about something I want to talk about, I noted.
Hey, Rick C. Rick C's been in the chat.
Shout out Rick C.
He's locked into it. He said Daytona can't wait. Yeah. Kyle has to win the Daytona.
He should have won it last year, and he crashed. He lost it. He blew it. And it was one of the most heartbreaking. It was literally one of the most heartbreaking moments of my life, like sports life. It was probably top 5. Number 1's the Lions losing this versus Commanders. Number 2 is the Lions losing the national. I don't know. Honestly, I'll do my top 5. Top 5 like saddest.
I'm interested.
Top 5 saddest moments in my sports career. Maybe I'll do like 6, 7. Number 1 and 2 are the Lions. The last 2 losses of the season, the NFC Championship game in this year. Probably. Michigan losing to TCU, that was heartbreaking. Michigan losing to Louisville in the national championship game for basketball. And then I probably, honestly, boys, at number 5, I put Kyle Busch not being able to win the Daytona last year. Like what happened in the last lap. It was and you can ask my cousin that I live with. He's a big I don't know why I'm drawing the blank on his guy. Oh, William Byron fan. And we were watching it, and I was doing a show. I think I was on a show with you guys actually. And I said, I gotta watch this, boys. And Kyle's about to win it. And last second, I think crashes, and my cousin's guys wins it. And I hear him across the house freak out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so heartbreaking. Oh my gosh.
I mean, who doesn't know William Byron? I mean, that's
I met William Byron's great guy, number 24. I met Kyle Busch too when I was like 7 years old. Got his autograph.
Jesse says you would be a Kyle Busch guy. Although you probably like Jeff Gordon.
Never liked Jeff Gordon. I've been Kyle Busch since I started in NASCAR. Since Kyle Busch was the number 5 back in when he was like 19 years old and started NASCAR. That was I was like 6, 7 years old.
Boots on the ground.
That's impressive.
Can't confirm the Kyle Busch story.
I don't switch up.
Many times.
Do not switch up.
All right, let's get to this mock. Thursdays, we do national mock or Thursdays and Fridays, I guess. We'll do Fridays here because we didn't get to one yesterday, I don't think.
No.
Because so we'll do it today. But every Thursday, typically, we do national mocks for the Lions. We go through the mocks, check them out. This week, we have one. CBS Sports did a mock draft. We'll see what they have the Lions taking. I have not seen the Lions pick, but we'll see the number 1 overall pick. Number 1 overall is Cam Ward. Yep. Crickets. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a good pick. Cam Ward goes number 1 overall. Tennessee gets their quarterback. I think they will take a quarterback.
Yeah.
With you. I think that's where they're going to go. I know all the talks everywhere else, but that's just, in my opinion, smoke screens. We'll see.
As they should.
Yeah, as they should. Yep. Cam Ward goes number 1. No, what?
Am I the only one who just does not think the first 2 picks should be a quarterback at all?
It depends on the team. Titans need a quarterback.
Somebody trades up, like let's talk about the Browns and Titans specifically. They need so much on both sides of the ball. If you bring in a rookie quarterback, and I understand the pressure from a GM standpoint, but like we were just talking about with the Giants earlier, the GM in Tennessee, believe first year, correct, or is he second year? Because they just fired the first year GM, right? Last year,
mm-hmm.
I believe. Either way, I believe they were for a new GM, so he has a clean slate. take the correct rebuild. How many times have we seen a team with the number 1 overall pick take a quarterback and he can't progress in the NFL because there's nothing there? Cam Ward's a good quarterback, but Cam Ward needs to develop. And I understand the AFC South is weak, but imagine having a weak AFC South and now you have a left tackle there. You have a right tackle. You have another defensive end. You have another draft, the whole draft if you want to put around a better quarterback draft next year, because you're going to be in a very similar spot. These are two franchises that have been haunted at the quarterback position. Steve McNair was the only good quarterback. Vince Young, I guess, if you want to say, for the Titans. But I don't think either of these two teams need a quarterback in these first 2 picks. They need to get assets and find a way to actually rebuild.
Yeah, I think taking a quarterback, to me, I believe, man, if you take a quarterback and you believe he's the guy, he can change your franchise. I get it if you have other positions, but especially if you're picking number 1, it's a tough spot to be in. They should trade back then if they're not in love with the quarterbacks. To be honest with you, I mean, number 2, Abdul Carter goes to the Browns, which they should take, if I'm being honest, because you have Myles Garrett anyway, and then Shooter ends up in New York, which I love. I think this is the
perfect for him. Perfect for both sides, to be honest.
Yeah, it's perfect. It makes too much sense. At number 4, Travis Hunter.
Great. Unbelievable for the Patriots. I've already said I think the Patriots should move up just to get him. I think that's like a perfect fit, especially with Mike Vrabel.
He also, it's been announced he's working out at the combine as a DB.
As a corner. Yeah, which I think is unreal. Play corner full time, and if you want to be wide receiver a little bit, do it. That's where I think he'll excel at. And with Vrabel, dude, that's a perfect landing spot. I think he's the best player in the draft, him or Abdul Carter.
I'm taking Will Campbell here. I'm protecting Drake May.
Will Campbell could be he's up here too. They're probably going to decide offensive lineman or Travis Hunter. But Travis Hunter's generational. I mean, you have to take a guy.
That's why it's you don't want to miss out on that guy. If he's available with New England, you do it.
Mason Graham goes the pick after. I actually wouldn't hate Mason Graham for the Patriots either, to be honest.
Yeah.
He goes to the Jags.
Mason Graham's going to be so good, man.
Yeah, he literally has I don't think he really has any flaws, to be honest.
No, dude.
He doesn't. He's
going to be dominant.
T-Mac goes to the Raiders. I mean,
for the position that they're in, I don't hate it. They need somebody on the outside. They got Jacoby Myers there. They got Brock Bowers. They got Brock Bowers and T-Mac to build around for a quarterback next year, hopefully. Raiders, that's a team that I wouldn't mind trading up for a Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders.
I'll tell you what.
They're in.
The Raiders, I don't know what their next couple picks are. If they can go T-Mac here, and then the second round they can get like a Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
If he falls to the second round, and then third, fourth round, they can get themselves a running back because it's such a deep running back class. That would be a perfect. I know you're thinking like that's 3 offense. They need to get that offense going. Like I think they have some pieces defensively, but like offensively, they need a potential quarterback of the future. Unless you really think Aiden O'Connell, they need a running back. They need a wide receiver. They need weapons, and I think that's how they should approach this draft.
Yeah, I like T-Mac, man. I mean, Klotz, you got us on to T-Mac.
Love him.
Yeah, he's a stud, dude. He really is. Next, Will Johnson goes to the Jets. That's Johnson.
They move on from DJ Reed, add Will Johnson with Sauce Gardner. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's perfect actually for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of them needing a quarterback, that's perfect.
AG would be he gets Sauce and Will.
That defense is scary, dude. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean that's a good pick. The Panthers go Jalen Walker, the edge, which I've heard a lot of good things about him.
Yeah.
Kind of that linebacker, pass rusher.
I'm trying to think of the last time, even in the first 2 rounds, that a Georgia defensive lineman has not panned out. Doesn't mean that every one of them has to be Jalen Carter, but I mean, the floors on these guys, I feel like, are instant. Okay, they're at least going to be giving you a good 6-man off the defensive line here.
Yeah.
Like if it's a Georgia guy, corner, different story. Defensive lineman, they don't miss.
Next pick, the Saints take your boy, Klotzy, Shamar Stewart.
Another reason AG shouldn't have went to the Saints. But
I'm pretty easy talking about him today. Take him. Go ahead.
What? Easy likes him?
Easy loves him. Easy, shout out Easy's in the chat. He loves Shamar Stewart. He thinks that he's going to be like the next big thing. And he's going top 10 here. And me and Klotz have been like, what are we doing here? That's like the potential. Hold on. Let's read that real quick. Positional flexibility to play end or tackles and length, defensive lineman, few have the amount of athletic potential. There's the word. I was just making sure that word was in there because everything I see about him is just potential because he's had like 6 total sacks his whole career.
No, yeah. If you're telling me that you're taking a guy in the first top 10 picks of the NFL draft and he's coming off a season with 1.5 sacks and has never eclipsed 2 sacks in a season, do we remember Lucas Van Ness and how he was physically a monster and that if you just let him progress a little bit, he'd be really good? Okay, that's Shamar Stewart right now. Obviously, Shamar Stewart is not the build that Lucas Van Ness is, but this is the same exact situation. Like, no, Shamar Stewart's a guy that should go in the 2nd or 3rd round, but because of his potential, he's going to be there. But Shamar Stewart is a guy that, especially in Detroit, absolutely not. If he's going to be good, it's going to be in year 3 or 4, not year 1 or 2.
Yeah, the only thing, man, it's tough. I get the potential, the measurables, but the production, like 3 years, man, you got what, 4.5 sacks, 5 sacks. That's what concerns me. But 6'6", 290. Yeah, he's good. People are going to fall in love with that. 6'6", 290 in versatility.
Jared Ivey, 6'6", 290.
Well, the Bears take Will Campbell here at 10.
Good for them.
That's a
great pick for them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick. They get Will Campbell. 11, Armand Membu.
Offensive lineman, good pick for the 49ers.
Yeah, he's like a tackle, but he should play guard. I mean, he looks like he's the size of a guard, but he's a tackle, 6'3". You don't really see too many 6'3" tackles in today's league.
Yeah,
man.
A little shorter. Probably athletic, though. I haven't really looked at his film at all by any means, but if you're undersized, you got to be athletic. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume there. They take a tackle. 12, Gentry goes to the Cowboys. They take the running.
Them.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Great pick. And number 12
I'm with
overall,
Klotz.
take a running back. I don't hate it.
Pick 13.
That nose sniff, dude. Every time.
Malachi Starks, was he safe? I think he's a safety. Yeah, safety out of Georgia. Goes
moving off of Javon Holland, most likely.
Yep. And then Tyler Warren. We keep seeing
this pick.
I think we keep seeing more of this. Tyler Warren to the Colts. It's like
I have a buddy who's a Colts fan, and he's like pounding the table for Tyler Warren. I'm like, dude, if you think go sign. Who did we just have on the show 2 weeks ago? Tyler Conklin. Yep. Go sign Tyler Conklin to a 2 or 3 year deal and address that defense, or draft Jackson Dart.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
Tight end will do nothing for you. We have heard so many times, and it's been true. Like, you look at TJ Hawkinson, very good all around tight end. What did he do for Detroit? Meaningful when it came to actually producing wins. Even in Minnesota, really done it. Brock Bowers, like Kyle Pitts, all these guys that we hear about that are all around tight end, and you're drafted in the 1st round. Like, I'm done with it. We've seen time and time again that you take them in the 2nd or 3rd round.
See, what, Klotz?
And the difference between, before you say it, Jeff, a tight end and a running back, Ashton Gentry is going to come in year 1 and give you at least 1,000 rushing yards and 10+ touchdowns. Tyler Warren, that would be his best career season. So, no.
What were you going to say, Boone? You're going to say something?
No, the Klotz just kept saying time again. Yeah, so what was that again, Klotz?
No, but Klotzy's point. I mean, we might not agree with running backs, but we agree with tight ends. I don't. Yeah. We've seen it in Detroit.
I mean, Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren, anyways.
Yeah, I don't.
Playmaker.
Like, I can listen to you if you're taking a tight end in like the 20s. Like,
I suppose.
Like, it's one of those things.
14th overall, dude. You're putting so much.
Is inexcusable. That is
like.
Ridiculous.
I agree, though. Like, the Colts, they need a tight end. Like, they have to go get out. They need a tight end. Top 15 pick. And
like, even this, so like, tough, Anakin, man. Sam Laporta did plenty for us. Like, they took Sam Laporta in the 2nd, but also they had a team. Like, they had got like filled out a lot of positions.
And I mean, all right, let's just do this real quick. I know we
Tyler Warren right now is just,
tight end free agents. Should we just look real quick?
There's probably a good amount of guys.
First one on the board: Tyler Conklin, Juwan Johnson, Austin Hooper, Zach Ertz, who just had a big year, Mike Gesicki. I mean, yeah, it's not actually. I mean, outside of Tyler.
I mean,
Conklin,
but you can have like Gesicki. Yeah, just sign like Gesicki and draft like
I think there are a lot of people that see George Kittle and they see guys like Travis Kelce and they see guys like Sam Laporta, Brock Bowers, and there are these teams and there are these scouts who are trying to find the next one of those types of guys. And it's
you know what's ironic?
That's where Tyler Warren ends up going top 15 or Colston Loveland goes in the top 20. That's what happens.
Ironic? Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Sam Laporta. None of them were first rounders.
Yeah.
Except for
I think
Bauer.
There's just people that chase that down. I think that's all it is.
You are right. You are absolutely correct about that.
They're just really looking for that next guy.
It's a copycat league.
Yes.
And guess what? Brock Bowers last year. So that's why teams are like, I want Brock Bowers, and they'll take a tight end now in the first round. It's ridiculous. All right. 15, Michael Williams goes to that's a good pick. I need an edge. Bad. The James Pierce, there you go, off the board. Goes to Arizona. It's a really good pick for them too. So 2 edges, man. The edges are good. Derek Harmon, the guy we talked about the last week, I believe.
Yeah.
Detroit from Detroit. Went to MSU, transferred to Oregon, goes to the Bengals. Hey, I mean, they drafted Chris Jenkins last year.
Yeah, that's gonna be a nasty little duo they could have. I like him. Harmon's a fucking monster.
Next one.
Yeah, he is. I like Derek Harmon a lot. Colton Loveland, tight end. Yep, goes to the Seahawks. I hate.
Seahawks really don't need a tight end. They don't really need a tight end.
They literally have Noah Fant.
I think this is just a bad by whoever's doing the mock draft. That's all it is. I don't even think we need to give this one any. I think this is just a bad pick by the.
Noah Fant is one of the most underutilized players in the entire league.
100%.
He came into the league out of Iowa and had 600 yards, and then now he barely gets the ball.
No, I think Noah Fant. I think they're good with him.
He's not some marquee tight end, but he's fine.
He'll get you.
What wasn't gonna do? Mm-hmm. You have JSN, you have DK. Take a defensive player.
I think this is. I don't think this is there's a 0% chance this happened. I think whoever did the mock draft, I think just completely got this wrong. I think that's all it is.
Well, the Bucs take Luther Burden at 19. So he was a guy that was projected super high before this season. So he fell a little bit.
I like him, but I'm not in love with him. Because I mean, we've seen time again, this could be just a personal thing with me, but we've seen time and time again, Missouri put out guys who are supposed to be really good at the receiver spot, and where are they now? And I just think that it does have some significance when you look at all the really good wide receivers in the NFL. Where did they all go to school? A lot of them all trail back to the same spots. Obviously, you're gonna have the one-off. But Luther Burden, I think he could be good, but I think there's people acting like he's a lock to be a really good wide receiver in the NFL, and I don't really see it that way.
I do love the Klotzy, and we're getting back into the draft world. The Klotzy where, this guy, Missouri I can't see a wide receiver coming out of Missouri. It just doesn't sound right. With different coach teams, different position groups and different college teams. I love that's part of your process, though. It's
you look at the Lions; they're number 1 and number 2, USC and Alabama. It is kind of
fun. 100%.
But it is crazy.
So funny that the Klotzy thinks about that. That's part of his mind. I like Luther Burden. I watched him a couple times this year play, and he's good. He's a dog, dude. I think I bet on him a few times in cash. So I like Luther Burden, man. And especially Chris Godwin coming off the major injury. He's gone. I think that's a great him. And then they have what's his name? Jalen McMillan, who just ended up kind of taking a step forward. If you have Luther Burden, Jalen McMillan, Mike Evans, and then you have Baker. I think Baker's very underrated. I think that's a great and then you have Rashad White in the backfield. Dude, that is Bucky Irving. Dude, that is such a good offense if you add Luther Burden to it. And they already have an offensive line. They I guess defensively they could add a piece, but if you're at 19, you're in that weird spot. I wouldn't hate it.
Look at Jesse, Jeremy Maclin. He came from Missouri. Mizzou.
And should Jeremy Maclin be a first round pick?
Hey, where did Jalen Reagor go?
TCU.
TCU, yeah.
Same with Quentin Johnson.
I loved him coming out the draft.
Same with Josh Doxson,
Michigan.
Another first-round pick out of TCU. Bust by the Commanders.
Who?
Josh Doxson.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jahan Dotson for a second.
Josh Doxson. No. I've heard of that name. I know that name. I can't. It doesn't come up.
Pick out of TCU.
Josh.
Bust.
Hey, I want to. Every time I call up a college, we just need Klotzy. We need to do a homework assignment for me.
Survey.
And will the
What do you
Broncos
think
take
about that?
Walter Nolan? People love Walter Nolan. They think this dude is going to be a monster in the NFL. I've seen a lot of people talk about him. So if you're going to take a defensive lineman, he's going to be a good player, I think. Well, he's 6'3", 305, man. Broncos get a defensive tackle.
What a big dude, man.
He's a big dude.
Anytime I see
Big
someone like
fucker.
300, like it's just like, oh man.
He's
Yeah, no.
athletic too. He's
Yeah.
nimble on the feet.
He's a freak athlete.
That
So,
size and you can move. I mean, he's the second best defensive tackle behind Mason Graham. It looks like position.
Yep.
rank.
Yeah.
All right, next pick, Matthew Golden goes.
I
to-
like Matthew Golden too. I mean, I think I just like all the wide receivers because I watched him all year. But I think Matthew Golden's going to be good. I think he's gonna be, that's good for the Steelers.
Really good.
Get
pick for the
yourself a
Steelers.
wide receiver, Mike.
Matthew
Yeah.
Golden is probably. I'm trying to think of who else could go in the
Jeez,
first round.
finally, man.
Probably the most all-around polished wide receiver. Like T-Max, got crazy upside, like screams Mike Evans, but there's a couple things that need to be kind of tweaked. Same thing with Burden, but Matthew Golden's a guy that there's really not that many flaws in his game. Really good at route running, 6 foot, so you can put him on the outside. Like that's why when I look at Burden, like I look at Matthew Golden, I look at Ibuka, and I'm like, okay, those guys are probably going to have more production year one. If you need a wide receiver, take those guys in front. Like I don't hate Burden, but I think there's definitely.
Why isn't
Like you talk about floor, I think he has a lower floor.
And Easy said in the chat, like he said, Steelers will never draft wide receiver. I think they're at a point. Mike Tomlin's seeing his job on the line. I think they're at a point to where listen. I said it earlier in the show. They trade for Matthew Stafford and finally get a legit quarterback, and you go draft a wide receiver like Matthew Golden, and then potentially sign another wide receiver and actually build out this team the correct way. Like I'm with Klotz. Like he's a guy that's going to make an impact like instantly if you have a good quarterback and you have a good defense on it. Like if you put together a good team and throw him on a roster, he's going to be able to make an impact. They have to do it. I think it's like a no-brainer. First round pick, use it on a wide receiver, and go get yourself another one in free agency and get a quarterback. That's the Steelers. What they have to do.
Jeff, I'm interested in what you have to see here. What are the odds? Because I honestly, like, if we were to do a mock draft, I would not pick Matthew Golden. I think the Steelers, with you go back how they draft, this is Jackson Dart. I think this is where Jackson Dart will go.
I think they need again.
That's just
Klotz,
what they, like middle quarter.
They do, but again, they haven't been in a position to where Mike Tomlin's sitting there. Like he's one of the major guys that makes these decisions to where he's been coming off a year to where legitimately, like they haven't won a playoff game in like 10 plus years, and they've been in the playoffs every year. I think like he's kind of in my head, maybe this is just, but like you have to do something different. Like because they never have before. I think like Tomlin's finally seeing like, hey, fans are coming at my head for a job. Like they want me gone unless I win a playoff game. I think this is the time where you have to do it.
But Boone, think about it. Because to your point, not that what you're saying is incorrect.
Insanity, man, doing the same thing over and over and over. Like if you guys think that, but like I get what you guys are saying, but dude, they have to change something.
If Matthew Golden works out, fulfills his potential, how much you're looking at like taking like Jackson Dart. You know what I mean? Like what that could do. If you want to win a playoff game, you take the quarterback. If you think he's going to be good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they need it now. Like they're not in like hey, we can let a guy develop. Like Jackson Dart's like, hey, get him in here. Let's see what he can do. Maybe.
But that's how you buy time, though. When you
but I don't think the Steelers are even in a close position to like. They've been in the playoffs every year. You have T.J. Watt. You have Cam Hayward. You're all in on guys.
Like, what are they going to do? Bring back Justin Fields and we'll do what?
Go trade for Matthew Stafford. Like make a move on a vet quarterback. They have to make a play. I agree with you guys. Like I agree. Like Steelers at some point they need a quarterback to do it. But like, dude, like they have drafted quarterbacks in the first round. None of them have worked out. They have built the roster up. It's not like we're sitting there where it's like, hey, no, like they have a full roster built up to where all they need is a quarterback to win now, and they can go win playoff games. Drafting Jackson Dart in the first rounds is going to set you back after you've already built up. You have one of the best defensive rosters in the NFL. You have an offensive line. You have 2 running backs. You have a tight end.
Line, though. That's the thing.
They don't have a bad one though. Like you can, like Klotz, what they've been working with Russell Wilson. Like, dude, they just made the playoffs. Like they've made the playoffs like a million straight years.
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't think they have an O-line, go sign a free agent, a couple of vets to kind of patch it together. But like to me, it's like if I'm a Steelers fan and you draft a quarterback in the first round, I'm throwing my TV throughout the window. Like I'm
Really?
done. Yes,
Even,
dude.
Done?
You
what
have
if
a
you were to take a
roster
Jackson-
you have a win now roster. That's the
But you
problem.
don't. I don't think in any way you get a win now quarterback, and if you give up Stafford, you're gonna have to give comp picks. And I still even don't think Stafford would be able to do it there. If you can take Jackson Dart round 2, giving names here, for example, and Xavier Restrepo to go inside of.
But again,
George
they tried
Pickens,
that
then you
last
have
year with
Wilson
Roman
coming back.
Wilson. Like
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Then that's a very good. If Jackson Dart flunks, fuck, that sucks. But now you have a good offensive weapon.
But you
around
guys,
whoever you want to bring in.
You guys are looking at it at the point, and like Jesse, like my point exactly is here. Like they keep messing up the quarterbacks the last 2 or 3 years. Okay, you got to go find someone. You need to go get someone you know is solidified. Like that's right. I get what you guys are saying. Like, well, the Steelers they do this. Like they need to do something different. They need to, because they haven't won a playoff game in 10 years, but they're consistently in the playoffs. Like they've built the roster up and they forgot. It's like they ran a race, like a relay race, and they forgot their main person all the way in the back. And they're like, oh my gosh. And it's like, that's the quarterback. So it's like they're up at the front with the teams as a roster as a whole, besides the main position, wide receiver and quarterback.
All right, let's keep it moving. We'll get to the Lions pick. Next pick, Tyler Booker. Speaking of offensive lineman, he goes to the Chargers. Man, they're just building this thing up, dude.
Yeah, hey, they're just gritty. Hey, Jim Harbaugh,
just grit.
Hey, go get some guys in the trenches.
The Packers take a corner, Siobhan Revel Jr., 6'3", Hey, that's a big corner.
East Carolina Pirate.
Yeah, they trade with the Minnesota Vikings, so to move up, grab him or not move. Yeah, wait, no. Mock trade. Wait, I don't know why that says mock trade. Anyway, the Chiefs. Oh, no, it's the Chiefs pick. I'm stupid. Sorry.
Chiefs traded up from 32 or 31.
Yes. Chiefs trade up. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. Chiefs trade up and take Calvin Banks. That's a good pick for them.
Yeah, great for them. Get that old line right.
Yep. And then Kenneth Grant.
25. Crazy, man.
They need to take an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
There's no they should not, and like their defense wasn't not insane, but it was elite last year, and they could not protect CJ Stroud. Houston, if they take anything else besides an offensive lineman or Ibuka, it's a waste of a pick in my opinion.
They do already have a stacked D line. Their D line is loaded already.
Still not select. I like him, man. Why is he kind of slept on a little bit? Is
no
he not?
clue.
I think of any Ohio. Speaking of colleges, Kotze, OSU receiver. He's put up numbers. He's been reliable. He's super intelligent. You know, he's always.
He doesn't have like that top end like burner. Like he's not going to give you 80-yard. Are you talking about Ibuka right now?
I'm so confused. Is it frozen right now? Are we on 26?
No, we're on 25.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I haven't seen Ibuka
yet. You're saying.
No, yeah, he just doesn't have like that upside. Like he doesn't have that Matthew Golden upside. But he's got a higher floor.
But Ibuka to the Texans, though, like Malik said, you reunite with CJ.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you're losing Stephon Diggs,
gone.
banged up.
Josh Simmons goes to the Rams. That's a good pick for them. And then Mike Green, oh my gosh, 27.
To the Ravens. The Ravens always get
these balls.
and they end up being good, dude.
That's another team that drafts well, dude. They just draft.
Yeah.
They draft linemen, edges. Like
anytime I see an edge. Anytime I see an edge to the Ravens, though, I just picture him right away in that purple, and I'm like, that guy's going to be great. Like, and I know it. Like, you know it instantly, and it's like, especially
like offensive lineman with the Eagles. Like everyone they take, this guy's going to be good.
And it sucks too because they pick one pick ahead of the Lions this year, and we need an edge. And like they're going to draft an edge, and that one guy,
draft an edge.
Yeah, and he's going to end up being he's going to have a great career, and we're always going to look back and be like, we just missed him.
Well, let's see who the Lions picked. Pick 28. The Lions select
Klotz. Oh man, I didn't like that reaction from
I like Donovan Jackson. No way in hell would I be content. All right. Or anything. If you use the first round pick and it's not traded for Myles Garrett and you use it on an offensive lineman or a wide receiver or a corner or a safety or a linebacker.
Donovan Jackson.
My heart would drop if I saw this, dude.
First round pick for the Detroit Lions this year has to be edge. How many years?
Edge to the D, hashtag.
To hit or head on a fucking glass window and just wait for it not to break by just not addressing the edge position. Just not. It makes no sense. Because if you sign a guy in free agency, there's not a premier guy out there. The best edge rusher in this year's free agency class is probably Khalil Mack. Would you guys agree? Or at least around that caliber. We were talking about Azeez Ojulari yesterday. There's not a guy that's going to be the future at that edge spot. Okay, so bring in a free agent. You can go in the second round. But at the end of the day, what's the biggest need on the fucking team?
Edge.
An
no
edge.
question.
And then you look later in this draft, like an offensive line, you can get an offensive lineman in the second, third. I don't care. I prefer you not to draft an offensive lineman in the second round and go back to the defensive line. If you take one, I'm not mad. No way in hell should the first round pick be anything but edge. Not a tweener. Not a tweener. It needs to be edge. If we're drafting Ohio State Buckeyes here, this should be Jack Sawyer, not Donovan Jackson. That should be the route by default.
Yeah, unless you trade up a bunch of picks and get Jack Sawyer, I think you'll probably go in the second, mid-second, early second, in my opinion. So
you have to right now.
You have to just take it. You got to strike. And I don't like the pick, man. Nothing against Donovan Jackson. It just doesn't. I'm okay.
I think when you look at it, if Brad, like we talk about BPA with Brad and we talk about positional value, listen, like take the BPA out and just put what he needs to do is just make his list of, his, what is it called? Like his edge list. And as they fall off, cross, and whatever edge is available at 28 at the top of his, boom, take it. Don't even question it. Just take your guy and move on. Like no tweeners, nothing. Just give me best edge available. Best edge available.
If it's really
BPA.
If it's really not that worth it, then trade the pick and go get a proven player with that first round pick during the draft. We've seen it happen multiple times where players are traded during the draft. That should be the move. If there's a guy where it's like, wow, this is a reach, do not trade back. I don't think you get anything by trading back at this point. Yeah, you gain depth, but again, you need a proven player there. So if you're going to not take an edge position with a prospect here, you trade it for an edge position.
All right, pick 29. There goes Ibuka to the Commanders.
Ooh, that'd be deadly.
With Terry, they said they're talking about bringing in another wide receiver with Terry. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, another Ohio. I'm looking at these picks. Gray Zabel.
North Dakota State.
Tyleik Williams is good.
Yeah, Tyleik Williams and Azaria.
Yep.
Thomas.
Florida State. Good corners they put out there. Good defensive backs at Florida State. They do.
So that wraps up their first round mock. Donovan Jackson, welcome to the Lions.
Come on. No.
You would know best, Klotz. You're an Ohio State fan.
He should be like a 28th overall pick type of player, but he's not like.
Lions just don't need him. We don't need him. Your argument in there is Christian Mahogany is bad. Christian Mahogany could start for this offense right away. I think that's it. Like that's the bottom line with it. Like if you don't like Graham, you don't think he's good, you don't need to go draft the first round guard. You don't. Bring Kevin Zeitler back, roll with Christian Mahogany. Like, we know what he can do. He's done it.
Wow. I'm trying to picture a scenario where that actually happens.
If that happens, I hate to be in a situation where I have to be upset, but
I'd lose my mind.
Yeah, well, hey, speaking of the team, I want to go around sports right now before mailbag. I want to bring this up because it relates to what you said, Boone, about the Steelers. Apparently, the Steelers are being aggressive in trying to acquire a quarterback. To Boone's point.
Is this real?
Yeah, this is real.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
The Steelers have tried calling.
Sorry, what I say makes a little
sense. Jags for the young prince, Trevor Lawrence. They've made inquiries to the Jags about a trade for Trevor Lawrence. This directly from the horse's mouth in the Jags organization. Steelers would deal this year's 1 and 2, but with the draft in Pittsburgh next year, I would be very surprised if next year's number 1 is even on the table. So they've been trying to acquire a quarterback, and they even had the balls to call Jacksonville. It was like, hey, Trevor Lawrence?
Imagine.
You need a quarterback. I didn't see this, and I made that statement 10 minutes ago. I'm telling you, like that's what the move they need to make. They need to make an aggressive move for a starting quarterback. Get them some weapons, and then patch up that O-line. I think you're good. That's like a team that can make a run.
I respect shooting your shot. I respect it.
Yeah,
team A. Yeah, why not? Call the Commanders. Be like, hey, you want to trade Jay Daniels? I mean, what are we thinking here? Start calling every team. Call the Bears. You want to trade Caleb?
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker. Just start calling everyone. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Pittsburgh's aggressive trying to get Matthew. I mean, I don't hate that at all. So I don't know. Trevor Lawrence, man, I don't know if he's the answer, but
he's not in Jacksonville. I can tell you that much.
I think there's a point where Trevor's been in a tough spot for a little bit.
Yeah, I big Trevor guy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think he has everything that he needs.
He needs an offensive coach, and I think he would.
Yes.
And I think with Liam Cohen, although he's funny and kind of cringy, I think it'll be great for him.
Brian Thomas too. Like I do think that offense can be good. I'm a big Brian Thomas guy. I thought he was going to be really good.
They saw that Luka trade and tried to get Trevor Lawrence.
They called in that point. You would have called for like Patrick Mahomes at that point. It'd be like,
yeah, the Jags fans would be devastated.
We'll give you TJ Watt for Patrick Mahomes.
That trade was like a honey pack for GMs across the United States of America, regardless of what sport they were managing. Honestly, they were all just on the phones, ready to go, make a deal happen.
I respected too, by the way, just talking about it. I respected Mark Cuban for the longest. Him yelling at fans for saying fire Nico is one of the worst moves he could. Like, Mark literally was like, I tried to stop the trade and it was too late. But then now you're going to stick up for Nico. And no, let the fans go out there and say their piece, man.
I mean, yeah, yeah, he did do that. He's like, sit down. He's like, what are you gonna do, man? You tell
they kicked the guy out of the game. It's like, dude, like let him say what he wants, dude. Like that was one of the worst trades, and not even NBA sports history. And you're gonna just kick him out of the game. He wasn't saying anything disrespectful. He's, hey, Mark, help us, man. Fire Nico. I think that's pretty respectful.
Hey, Steelers might try for JJ McCarthy, huh?
Roman Wilson's there.
JJ's untouchable.
He's more untouchable than Mahomes. Did you see him at the combine last year?
Is that Mel Kiper? Who is that?
I think that's like Klotz's alter ego.
Hey, you know what I heard Mel Kiper say the other day? Talking about Gentry.
That's Mel Klotzy.
You know what he said about Gentry? He's like, well, he's a great pick, but I wouldn't draft a running back. I wouldn't do it. But I think he's a very good pick for do you think I forgot what team he was talking about?
Oh, no. Probably the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's like, you know how I feel, Fields. I wouldn't draft a running back, but and I'm like, okay, I know.
That's that. Hey, you and Kuiper at the top.
Hey, Mel's been around a while. He's that's like Boone's Dan-O is like my I go to Mel on this.
I think Dan-O's gonna get a job here in the next few weeks.
You think he goes into coaching seriously? You think?
Yeah, 100%, dude. He would be a great coach.
I
don't know why people hate on Dan-O so much, dude.
If coaching, like you've already done the ESPN thing, like unless he loves it, but like try. Why not? He's young. Go try and coach. You can always get a job back. You can always get back on TV.
He's a great football mind. I was in the heavyweights chat today, and I said Spenny was going at Brad Holmes a little bit. So and shout out Easy, he's in here, and I said Gooner Spenny. Because he loves golf, but then on the other side, he loves Brad Holmes. He can't decide. And he said, Booner, you wanted Dan-O. Why are we acting like that's a bad? Dan-O is such a good football mind, dude. I would love Dan-O in our building. Yeah, dude. I mean, his mind, he's one of the best football minds right now out there. Why would you not want him around your staff?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if he was like a JT Barrett role. Like if he was like an assistant quarterback coach, like just even work under Mark Brunell, like that would be perfect for him.
Or just what is it?
Just
like
to get a start.
Even like a pass game coordinator, like just come in and make just be able to just draw plays up and just let that. Hey, he's got such a wild mind, a football mind. Let him just go in there and just put him in a room, lock it, and just say, hey, draw us 100 plays, and just when you get your 100
plays.
Once you get your 100, you're out for the day.
Draw us 100 plays. Why is he like? I mean, why?
Sorry, I've been watching that TV show, Severance, and that's essentially what they do. It's like they just lock them. They don't lock them in, but like you're in that building, and it's like, hey, get your job done. You can go home.
Your shit done.
Great show too, by the way, boys. I mean, I watched another episode today. A new episode
it's actually illegal. lock it. Hey,
the Detroit Lions just sweatshop the play factory.
But do you remember the Lions actually got like in trouble for something recently? What was that?
Titus Young's still in there paying off his dues.
Oh, what did they get in trouble for?
wait,
Oh, they were practicing too much. Do you remember the Lions? They got like a pick taken away from them or something.
Yeah.
They lost a pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think they lost a pick. I can't remember, but it was yeah, I don't know. It was like Dan and them just had the guys practicing too hard. Like they weren't supposed to be out there. Oh, they didn't lose a pick. They lost like a couple days of practice where they weren't able to practice.
I remember what you're talking about though, Boone. You're right.
Yeah. Easy said we were hitting that practice too early. Yeah, see, it's just absolute dogs out there.
Yeah.
Same with Dano. Throw him in a room and let him just cook. Just hey, be a dog, Dano.
That's what it is. Losing an off. They lost an off-season practice due to a violation of workout rules. And
they got sent home early.
Yeah, just a bunch of dogs.
Yeah, that's all it is. Hey, you
when
think
they get
Dano
hurt,
wouldn't fit in there?
When they get hurt,
Boone, you want I think Dano would fit, but he's not like he's a McVay guy, not a Dan Campbell guy.
I think Dano would love Dan Campbell.
I would too, but when you're like, I don't think Dan Orlovsky's one of the guys like, let's go fucking kill somebody. Run through a fucking
no, but listen, everyone on that, you think Mark Brunell's out there like, let's go kill no, Mark Brunell's like a little like, all right, boys.
Give me Sean McVay guys. I don't care about
Why
that.
not?
I mean, what does that even mean? What is he bred
You
off?
think Tanner Engstrand was in there, Klotzy, being like, "Oh, I'm gonna go kill someone right now"? Tanner was like the guy in the back room that's like, "I've got 175 plays ready for the game."
Let's calm down here. You two calm down over there. Maybe I misinterpreted what you were trying to say. I did say, did I not, that Dan Orlovsky would fit? I just don't see him as like.
So what side are you playing?
Yeah, what
you're back over there with the floaties from the other night.
When I think of Dan Orlovsky, I don't think of, like when I think of Scotty Montgomery, I'm like Dan Campbell guy.
Ben Johnson. What do you think of him?
Exactly. You don't always like the whole staff.
What you guys are saying. You guys are acting like I'm saying there's no chance he should be in Detroit. He would never.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you're trying.
Everyone in the stream, please do me a favor. Rewind. Let's go a minute 30 just to be safe, so we can make sure that we have it. And listen to what I said. I said I think he'd fit in Detroit, but I just don't think of him because Booner said Dan Campbell guy. When I think of Dan Campbell guy, I think of Scotty Montgomery. I don't think of Dan Orlovsky. When I think of Dan Orlovsky, who would he be a guy?
You could be a Dan Campbell guy without being all hoorah. You're just a hard worker that just.
What do we talk about? Okay, that's fine. We're not going to get into
the Jared Goff.
My
is
bad.
Like, but he's a Dan Campbell guy.
You guys are gooning right now over Dan Orlovsky. My fault. I know it's Valentine's Day, but calm down over it.
Hey, I think it's all right. If you don't like Dano, it's cool, man. No big deal.
I hate him.
Hey, how did the goon start? How did that start?
I just saw Easy putting it in.
We experienced it first hand down in Detroit that one day, boys. With that dude outside.
I don't remember.
That
outside of the tin roof. Yeah, that was wild.
We're walking downtown and we see a homeless man with his pants down. Like, what? I mean, like, it's
by the way,
what are we doing? I mean,
we did. I'm sorry. The German. We did the German candies. I don't think they used it. No. And listen, some of them were good.
I'm telling you, that's
I felt like we killed it. Like Like that was like such a good video, and the guy was loving it. He was like, "Yeah, boys," and then she was just looking at us like,
"Give me back my camera."
I was pumped up for that too. I couldn't wait, man.
Candy
homeless people.
Besides the last ones,
the last ones fire,
so
dude.
good.
I took a whole handful. I took like 8 of them, and all day I just kept eating them. They were so good. I mean, maybe they did post it. Maybe they did. I never went back and checked, to be honest.
He said, "Dude was just celebrating a big win."
That's when they lost to the Commanders. He's why. He is why, dude. This guy was outside of establishment's name. Well, Jeff said it.
No.
And either way, he was outside of there, bro. Literally right by the door. And like me and Jeff and Boone, we all walk by the first time. And right as we walk by him, we hear, and we all hear it, and we're weak as fuck, but we're not like thinking anything. We're like, all right, that was just a funny noise.
The second,
and we go. Boone does a great job. We shoot some things for the news, and we walk back, and it's the same guy, and his pants are down to his knees.
Ankles.
He's directly in front of the line, behind the security guard, just pants down at the ankles. I'm like, what? I was just,
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
mind
it
blown.
was
No one
Dude.
to think. There's at least
Someone's
the
got to
line
step
was
up and
wrapped
be
around the
like,
building.
hey, the security's right there. Like, security's like looking at the guy. Like,
They
hey,
don't
like,
get paid enough to deal with that, man.
call
I'm
a
not
I don't know, call a police officer. There's a naked guy outside of our establishment. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's what you do. If I'm a security guard, I'm going to be like, this ain't. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Yeah, I mean, hey, Detroit. I love going to Detroit. I'm actually going to Detroit after the show, to be honest with you, with Lex. But when you see things like that,
what's in Detroit tonight? Is there an event?
Valentine's Day, Boone.
yeah,
I
going
keep
to
forgetting, man.
going to a cocktail bar down there. Check it out.
Oh, okay.
Hey, just check it out.
Fancy
Now,
schmancy.
but there will be times like any big city. I'm sure we'll see them in Indy too, where you just see some interesting individuals. You know what I mean? There's always some characters. There's always some characters. Which is how it happened, you know. So I love the city.
Saw the ghost of Jane Daniels.
Yeah,
That was unbelievable. By the way, remember that?
it was like
kid?
a That's So Raven flash. Like he saw
One of my worst nightmares would ever to be have to run into that kid again. That was like,
Oh my God, yeah.
he probably had himself a night, dude.
Who was the guy?
the drunk dude that
the
wanted to.
British are coming. The British are coming. What's his name? I'm mind blanking. I can't think of his name. I feel like I want to say Paul Revere, but I feel like that's completely
Yeah, Paul
wrong.
Revere.
Yeah,
He's like the Paul Revere of the Washington Commanders. He's like, China Daniels is going into Ford Field, and they're gonna kill the Lions.
The kid was like
Kid called
15
his
years
shot
old
and was
too.
spot on.
Paul Revere.
He was like
Yeah,
15 years
he
old,
wore
and
the
everyone we were
helmet.
yelling at him. Everyone's yelling at him. Great, hey, good sport too, because he was
Yeah,
the drunk
Put up
dude was-
helmet, shoulder pads, jersey.
Oh my gosh,
padded
the
pants,
drunk guy.
cleats.
The drunk guy wanted to fight Klotzy, and then Roddy tried grabbing Caleb or something, and then it turns out he ended up being right. I mean, they whooped the Lions' ass.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if he got to make it to that point to see the game. but
no
Try
way.
to he made it political for no reason.
his girlfriend,
he
his
got really
girlfriend or
bored.
wife looked at me and goes,
She knew.
This is only going to get like 5 or 10 views, right? Like this is going to be on. I'm like, no, lady, we've got a lot of people who watch our stuff. She's like, oh no, we got to get them out and like we're going to go get them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, sorry.
He could have been the next Hawk Tua. You never know. He had his moment. He blew it.
That I could probably think of his name. But he had like the look. He had a look in his eye like halfway through. Like he just was a manic person. You could tell he had a different side. He didn't like one of the questions or something. He
called you
snapped.
like skinny or $170 or like
Yeah, but he just got mad.
yeah. Well,
Happens, man. You know.
it happens. You know, hey, it's the city, man. You gotta love it. It happens everywhere. It's not just Detroit. So
Wait, there was a question here. Where was it? Jesse Adams.
Jesse Adams says, mailbag, what's a worse take? Jeff calling Drake the GOAT or him trying to kill Jameis Winston and saying he'd rather have Daniel Jones instead?
Jameis Winston without a doubt. Jameis Winston without a doubt. I'm not a fan of the Drake GOAT talk, but Jameis Winston without a doubt.
Kind of a fact, but
I mean, Daniel Jones would take care of the ball.
yeah, I think the worst. I think the Dan or the Jameis thing, because I think Drake's the GOAT too. So
I think Drake's the GOAT, so I would have to side with Jameis Winston.
why is this guy mocking
Sad
me?
life.
Yeah,
Sad life.
Booner,
Drake Sherwood.
What are you
This is
mocking
the
me
guy
for?
that
Mock
you have on
Clyde
your
or
team
mock
with
Jeff?
Jameis Winston.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man.
I didn't hear Jeff's response yet. I would have. You didn't let it happen. He didn't say anything yet.
No. What are we doing?
No, that's
here?
fine. It's all good. All right. Malik
What
says
is
no.
that? Look at what is this? What is that face?
Tupac or Eminem.
Tupac.
Love that. All right, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you all. Have a great weekend, man. Stay safe out there. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to the people.
For all,
man.
if you don't have a girlfriend or a wife, some significant other, it's okay. You know what? You keep doing you.
Thank you, Jeff.
keep
Still got a pillow.
improving, You
Thank
keep
you.
self-improving, and I'm
Thank
telling
you.
you're gonna be a dog. I'm talking to you, Boone. Actually, I'm talking to you. You're a
I
stud.
love everyone.
And if
out
you do,
You got
she's
it.
probably if you do, she's probably mad at you because you're watching us instead of hanging out with her, which we appreciate you.
there. Yeah, that is kind of funny.
Or
Though.
him.
Imagine on a
Or him.
Valentine's Day night you're watching us.
Hey, that's just say you were busy doing something. All right, we'll catch you. Have a great weekend, everyone. Seriously, love you guys. Appreciate you guys, and we will catch you on Monday. We'll be back for our first ever edition.
Mock Draft Monday.
There you go. All right. We will see you all. Peace.